As we're coming on the air tonight, Milton, a catastrophic Category 3 hurricane, has just made landfall near Siesta Key, Florida. Now, this is a life-threatening situation, with officials stressing if you did not get out, you need to be sheltering in place right now. This is a live look at the conditions in Fort Myers, Florida, as we speak. Milton is packing winds of up to 120 miles per hour. Nearly 800,000 people are already without power. Storm surge warnings are in effect up and down the coast, as some parts could see up to 15 feet of rising water tonight. Now, this is on top of a record-breaking number of dangerous tornadoes ripping through the center of Florida throughout this chaotic day. Dozens of twisters through communities hours before landfall. Again, that is ahead of the hurricane. Some areas already reporting roofs torn apart and people hurt. There were more than 100 tornado warnings today, the most ever in Florida in a single day. We will have special coverage over the next 2 hours tracking Hurricane Milton as it makes landfall. Our team of correspondents are on the ground all across Florida, and top story anchor Tom Yamas will be guiding us through these critical hours as he rides through the hurricane from the ground zero of Sarasota County. His team is repositioning as we speak. But first, for an overview of what so much of Florida is facing right now, let's start with NBC News meteorologist Angie Lastman. Angie, we've got that super destructive eye wall that has inched closer to where Tom and his team have been. Now he is inside of that eye wall. What are conditions looking like all around Florida right now?
Hey there, Gadi. Yeah, so the thing is, if you're inside of the eye wall, all is calm. We saw some reports that it's even a little humid. You start to hear really everything that's going on around you, but it's that eye wall that is so destructive that we are so concerned about when it comes to wind damage, when it comes to the rainfall, and of course on the backside of that system, all of the water being shoved up against the coast. We did have landfall, you mentioned it, in Siesta Key just a little while ago. This system is going to continue cruising to the north and east here as basically the next 12 hours goes on, but notice how aggressive this band of rain is set up across parts of Tampa, Bradenton, and points north of that, St. Pete included in that, the Tampa area. We're watching the eye kind of right around here. The south of that, that's where we're starting to see the storm surge really ramp up. It's been ongoing. It's going to continue to get worse here as we go through at least the next 2 hours for areas Sarasota and points south towards Venice, even Naples recording 5 to 6 feet of storm surge already. Those numbers are going to continue to be on the rise here as the next couple of hours go by. Notice this blue box. That's an extreme wind warning. That's going to go until 9:30 tonight. I wouldn't be surprised if it gets extended. That means that basically you're talking about very aggressive and destructive winds. The National Weather Service tells you to act like this is a tornado warning happening right over you. So that's exactly what people should be doing if they chose to stay in this area for inland areas along I-4, Tampa Bay, St. Pete, all of that included. And again, stretching down into the Bradenton area where you see these purple and red returns on a radar. That means torrential, really aggressive rainfall at the same time. This system is kind of north loaded. So you see on the northern side of the eye wall, that's where the strongest winds are, and that's where the heaviest of the rain is. On the backside, it doesn't mean that there aren't, really damaging effects happening there with the eye wall, but if you're in this area, you're going to see more power outages here. You're going to likely see, as the sun comes up tomorrow, a lot of wind damage going through this eye wall in places like Bloomingdale, St. Petersburg, Tampa, Clearwater even. And that's just the wind damage that we'll watch for there. Now, one thing to note, this system is going to stay together as a hurricane here as it crosses the state. It'll do so pretty quick. Notice this is 2 p.m. on Thursday. It's already out into the Atlantic. So I would say by 11 a.m., maybe noon, it'll be out of the state of Florida and off into those ocean waters. But it's still going to be a Category 1, and we're still going to see those Category 1 hurricane force winds associated with it as it works across central Florida, Orlando area, and across the Space Coast as well. On top of that, those heavy rains will also be there. When it comes to the storm surge, this is what we feared so much leading up to this storm system. We've got over 4 feet of storm surge happening for Naples right now. We've got almost 4 feet in Fort Myers. This, of course, nothing compared to what they dealt with in Hurricane Ian, but this number is going to go up, and this is well away from the center of that system. We're probably talking about much higher ranges a little farther to the north. We unfortunately don't have gauges there to tell us that there just simply is not gauges in that area, Gadi. So we're going to have to wait until, of course, the light of day to see some of what the worst of that storm surge brings. Right now in the Tampa Bay, we have reverse storm surge going on. So the water rushing out with those offshore winds. This is going to continue here for the next couple of hours, and we'll see, the system continue to move across the state with the other impacts that it'll bring to folks there here over the next 12 hours or so.
Angie Lastman with a little bit of good news for Tampa Bay with those negative storm surge numbers. But we have Stephanie Gosk, who is in Tampa Bay right now, and that is where we're seeing the worst of the torrential rain. Stephanie, what are you seeing on the ground right now? We know there's been torrential rain and flooding, but the storm surge might not be as bad as feared. So describe the situation that you're in right now.
Yeah, Gadi, it's the rain, but it is also the wind. I mean, we are seeing ferocious gusts of wind. They have to have topped 100. They were up to 95, 96 earlier, maybe about a half an hour ago, and they've just picked up and ratcheted it up even further. We're seeing trees bent over, signs whipping off of buildings. This is certainly the worst that it has gotten. And then there is the rain, the torrential rain. It's been raining all day here, but has started to come down much faster and much harder. You can tell these gusts are coming in pretty strong. Their rain, according to Bill Cairns, for the next 3 or 4 hours, this area of Tampa could get 2 to 3 inches of rain an hour. That will be on top of what's already fallen. So, yes, there isn't going to be the storm surge here in Tampa Bay, but you're looking at upwards of a foot of rain falling on a place that is already saturated from a previous storm, on top of the damage that this wind is inevitably doing on this region as I talk to you.
And Stephanie, people may be tuning in right now and wondering, how are you still standing and those palm trees behind you are blowing like crazy? Can you walk us through some of the safety precautions you and your team have taken?
It's a great question. We are actually in a parking garage made out of cement. We are on the 3rd story of the parking garage, and we are surrounded by 3 walls basically. So you're looking out at the wind. But I can tell you, even the wind coming in here, I'm slightly slight of frame. If it hits me just the right way, I almost tumble over. I mean, it is that strong, and it's much stronger out on the streets here. We are in an area that it's close to where there are some hotels and a mall. You just don't see any sign of cars or people or anything. They have cleared out. They have heeded the warnings. They're staying in place, and we are taking precautions to be safe here as well, Gadi.
Stephanie, it seems like Tampa has had a lot of close calls over the years, but a hurricane hasn't hit that area directly in almost a century. So how prepared is Tampa for a hurricane?
Yeah, well, this entire coast of Florida just gets hit at various stages in various ways from hurricanes. It is a fact of life. You live here. And yes, there hasn't been a hurricane that has directly hit Tampa in a century, but people here know that they're going to have to do it. There's a great example and a critical one for the city of Tampa, and that is the Tampa General Hospital. And they have taken incredible measures to make sure that they can stay operational. They are such a critical place for people to get care, especially during a storm where people could get hurt. They have flood walls that protect for storm surge up to 12 feet. They have their own power plant, Gadi, to keep the lights on 32 feet above sea level. They have moved all of the patients and doctors and staff out of the 1st floor, and they keep 5 full days of supplies and medicines and food so that they can wait out whatever might happen. They are perhaps the most critical infrastructure of this city, and it just goes to show that people know that these storms are going to come through. But this period of time, Hurricane Helene, followed by this storm, it is a 1-2 punch that they have not seen in this city in a very long time, Gadi.
Incredible, the power of Mother Nature behind you there, Stephanie Gosk in Tampa. Thank you so much. And for a split screen here, let's go to Tom Yamas, who is in Sarasota right now. Tom, just before this, I was watching your coverage, and you were in the eye of the storm. And, we just saw Stephanie Gosk kind of getting blown around in the shelter of concrete. Describe the situation that you're in, because you were right in that eye, right?
Yeah, the eye was incredibly calm. It was quiet. It was eerily quiet. And unfortunately, when it gets like that, it brings people out. And so now I'm going to be kind of looking out of the corner of my eye because there's a lot of people in sort of high water pickup trucks, if you will. And they're just sort of zooming around, looky-loos, if you will. They're doing donuts. They're trying to splash the water in different directions. It's dangerous, it's reckless, and what they don't realize is that now that the eye wall or the back eye wall is about to hit us, this is the strongest part of the hurricane. So the eye is obviously very calm. Now that is past, the strongest hurricane force winds are going to hit us. What I do want to show you, though, Gadi, is pretty incredible. This is the beginning of the storm surge. When we came out here, maybe about 15, 30 minutes ago, there wasn't water here. It's moving really, really fast. You can actually see it on the camera as it's pushing forward. This is coming from the bay. It's coming right into Sarasota. And this is the big fear right now. It's not going to get too serious until those hurricane force winds start pushing that water ahead. It could be anywhere from 8 to 12 feet. The power behind me, you notice, is out. So we're dealing with some power outages right now. But again, we're still sort of feeling the effects of the eye of the storm, which, even though this is a monster hurricane, it's a phenomenon of weather. It is incredible. It is completely calm right now. It is the Zen spot, if you will, of the hurricane right before the chaos starts once again. And that's the backside of the storm. And the wind gusts are picking up a little bit, Gadi. So we know it's coming in maybe 15, 20, 30 minutes.
15, 20, 30 minutes. How long have you been in the storm, sir? How long have you been in the eye there?
You know, the eye, I'd say, and I have my team out here with us. What do we think, guys? Like maybe 30, 45 minutes? Probably about 45 minutes. Our audio engineer, Mr. Pope, who's an experienced storm chaser here, he's been with us, been monitoring the conditions. He thinks it's about 45 minutes. I think he's right. But again, Gadi, like, it's hard to explain. I've covered a lot of hurricanes, and you forget how calm it is in the eye. I mean, it was blowing. There are trees that are already down in Sarasota, and then suddenly it just stops. And it feels like any summer night in Sarasota, and now it's picking up again. What I'm worried about is the people that have come out, because there's a lot of cars now that are out here. They shouldn't be. But the police said, listen, we're not coming back out until after the storm. So these people know that the cops aren't going to be out here. And, you know, there's, again, looky-loos, people being cavalier. I'm going to show you one right now. It's coming through here. George, if we can pass over here. You have a lot of vehicles like this. They're high-water vehicles. You know, they're pickup trucks. They're Wranglers. They have huge tires. And in some cases, not that guy, but in some cases they're doing donuts. They're revving their engines up. They're trying to have fun in a hurricane, which, again, I mean, whatever floats your boat, but, you know, it's not safe.
No, and it's so misleading. I mean, when you're in the eye, it's eerie. There is almost a beauty to it, because you're in this storm that has been battering the area for hours and hours and hours, and all of a sudden there's this calm, and yet you see the destructive nature on the backside, which is what you're going to be experiencing here in the next hour, 2 hours. Does it seem like most people have heeded the warnings? Does it seem like most people have evacuated and left?
It did, until the eye came over us, and then we started seeing all these pickups and all these cars coming through here. So it was calm. It was quiet. It looked like it's safe. Look, we're staying in a hotel on the water, and people have come out. There are people staying in the hotel. This is an evacuation zone, though. But I think some of the people in the hotels that are high up, our hotel is very high up. I'd say it's probably maybe 50 to 100 feet up, 50 to 100 feet up. So, you know, we feel very protected here. But again, I got to tell you, Gadi, the water here, it's wild. It's coming in. And the rate that it's coming in is pretty fast. So I think over the next 4 or 5 hours, we're going to see some serious flooding in Sarasota. I mean, it was forecasted. It's just the question is how high it's going to be. You see, this is what I'm talking about here. People just zooming by, going as fast as they can in some cases.
Wow. And the storm surge was it was a huge concern a little bit north of you, and it looks like that is now shifted south. Does it look like the storm surge is already starting to set in where you are?
Yeah, look, it looks like it's coming in. I mean, the big fear was the storm surge in Tampa Bay, that black swan event. Luckily, and not luckily for other communities, but luckily for Tampa Bay, the storm, you know, it hit a little south of Tampa. If it hit north, it'd be a much different story. That's why Sarasota will feel the brunt of that storm surge, and that's why people here are concerned tonight. Again, once we get to that back of that eye wall, it's going to be a much different story. Gadi, I'm going to pick up our coverage now, because I know our colleague Priscilla Thompson is standing by in Orlando. She's been covering the tornadoes and the tornado threats throughout the central and eastern part of the state. Priscilla, what can you tell us tonight?
Yeah, so we know that there have been dozens of reported tornadoes throughout central and southern part of the state, and we've seen some pretty dramatic footage of the damage. In St. Lucie County, there was a sheriff's building that is now just a pile of mangled metal, and we're talking about a 10,000 square foot building that has just been destroyed by a reported tornado. We also got some traffic cam in from Fort Pierce, Florida, where you just see these huge debris flying by as there is a funnel cloud there. And there are also reports of some injuries in some places as a result of these tornadoes. The good news is that a number of those tornado watches did expire at 9 p.m. So there's hopes that we will not see any more of that tonight, but certainly a very terrifying experience on top of an already very destructive and potentially deadly storm. Tom?
Okay, Priscilla Thompson for us. Priscilla, we appreciate it. We thank you for all your reporting. Please stay safe. I do want to talk to the emergency management operator for Sarasota County, where we are tonight. Oh, okay. I think we're gonna dial in and talk to her soon. Do we still have Priscilla? All right, Priscilla. We still have you, so I think we're going to stick with you for a little bit. But while we do this, I want to show that the people we're talking about, people in the looky-loos not taking things seriously. There's a couple on a motorcycle right now, just going through a massive hurricane. Again, we're in the eye, so it's calm, but probably not the best idea, especially when the storm surge has started. You can see it here. The water is rising, and it's actually rising surprisingly fast. I mean, I've covered hurricanes before, and you see that storm surge come in, but you can actually see the rate at which the water is coming in, pushing some of the debris. Luckily, there were no debris piles out here on the coast of Sarasota. We know that in the neighborhoods and the suburbs there are, but thankfully they cleared out all that debris here. The wind's still not that strong. Priscilla, I'm curious, where you are in Orlando, what kind of effects are you feeling from the hurricane?
Yeah, Tom, so the rain is starting to come down harder. Already we're seeing some water beginning to pool on some of the roadways here, and the winds are also starting to pick up. And so right now officials are saying if you are not yet sheltering, you have about a half hour to do that before the worst of this storm is expected to move in and make things a lot more complicated here. And what is interesting about this area is that during Hurricane Ian, they saw devastating flooding, and Milton is expected to be far worse. We're talking about up to 14 inches of rain here that could just cause catastrophic flooding in addition to the 80-mile-per-hour winds. And there are people who have evacuated to this area. I spoke to a woman who lives in St. Petersburg, said that she lost everything during Hurricane Helene. All that she has left there is a 10-foot by 10-foot storage unit that is on the first floor in St. Petersburg with all of her life's possessions. They drove up here to Orlando today, and she is just numb. She says that she doesn't know what to expect. I want to play a little bit of that conversation I had with her.
You're really kind of numb. You're really just kind of numb. We've all been in shock. Just your adrenaline just takes over. We've been through a lot of suffering, so I think we understand suffering in just such different ways, and I know that we get through it.
And so many people here just feeling lost. And that woman, I don't know if you could see, was clutching a rosary. And she told me that she has been praying nonstop, hoping that this storm will not be as bad as it is projected to be, especially here in Orlando, where she and her family are sheltering. Tom?
All right, Priscilla, we thank you for that. We have Sandra Tapfumane on the phone right now. She's in charge of the emergency management for Sarasota County. Sandra, thanks for joining us once again in our special coverage. The eye is passing over Sarasota. It's been very calm, at least where we have been for the last hour or so. The winds are now starting to pick up. Have you gotten any reports about any kind of emergency situation so far? And what are you monitoring?
Yeah, hi. Thanks so much for having us on. So right now we have not gotten too many reports of any emergencies. We do anticipate that to increase as the eye wall or the eye passes over the county. Right now it was going over Siesta Key and starting to hit inland a little bit. So it is eerily calm here, and we know that that's not going to be the case in a short time. We're expecting the storm to deteriorate with the conditions.
Yeah, I'm here live in Sarasota. We're right by the bay. The storm surge, you can actually see it coming up now. I'd say it's about ankle high where we are, and we're a little bit above sea level here, so it's coming in. Have you gotten reports about the storm surge yet?
So we did see, we were watching some Department of Transportation cameras along the Philippi Creek, and it looked like it was starting to flood that area, and some reports about Venice Beach having a couple of feet of storm surge down south. So it's starting, it is starting, and I anticipate that, we're going to have multiple feet. We're really hoping that we're not going to get that high end of the 12-foot projection at this point. I mean, we just had Hurricane Helene that created a lot of devastation to the coastline, and that was only 5 to 6 feet. So, anywhere above that, really any storm surge on top of what we already had is going to be a very, very catastrophic situation for the county.
What are you hearing about power outages? Here, the power is out where we are. We're seeing transformers explode in the distance. Have you got any reports about that?
Yeah, we are starting to hear about different parts of the county that are without power. Really, there's a lot of areas that are. So we are trying to get an assessment from FPL to get a total count of how many are out. But that was an anticipation with the high winds. 120-mile-per-hour winds is definitely going to take out a lot of the power. So right now, we're looking at 160,000 out of power, and anticipate that to increase.
All right, Sandra Tapuvume, we appreciate you, and I know we're going to stay in contact throughout the night. Thank you for all that you're doing for the people of Sarasota.
Thank you so very much.
When we come back, we're going to have much more from Hurricane Milton. The winds are starting to pick up here in Sarasota as the eye passes us. What else is happening around the state? Stay with us. They're rolling on. Welcome back to our live coverage of Hurricane Milton. The situation here in Sarasota is starting to turn dire. At first, we had, okay, we're gonna go, we gotta go.
Wow, that is a
I'm gonna
live
send it
look
back to
right
you guys.
now.
Gadi, we're okay. We just want to move inside.
Wow. If you're joining us live, we're watching Tom Yamas and his team fall back right now. Just moments ago, Tom Yamas was in the eye of the storm. It was completely quiet. There were people driving around. There was not that storm surge that you're seeing. And now all of a sudden, within a matter of a minute or two, it is complete chaos where he is. The wind gusts are picking up. You see those flashes of light. You see what look like transformers blowing in the background, and that storm surge has come in. Again, we are watching this live feed of Tom Yamas and his team falling back to safety. If you were watching just a few minutes ago, you saw Tom. He was walking out there in the street. He was walking in relative calm. We were just talking about how eerie it was. And now that team is having to fall back to some safety. You see the footsteps there in the storm surge that is rising there in Sarasota. Incredible images. We're going to wait for Tom Yamas to reposition in a safer position. They've got a lot of different fallback locations throughout that area, and so they're going to be falling back to one of those safer positions. But for now, joining me from Sarasota as well is storm chaser Ben McMillan. Ben, did you see this? All of a sudden, the backside of the wall come screaming in, just like Tom's team there?
Yeah, Gadi, some really scary moments. You saw some of the power flashes, the explosions in Sarasota. We've moved north to Bradenton, and you can see now significant storm surges coming in off the bay here, Tampa Bay, into the area here, and the conditions are really going downhill quickly. So last few moments here have gotten extremely violent with the wind, and I think it's definitely safe to say the storm's not over yet.
And Ben, you've been outside all day. How quickly have you seen things change from the storm, from the eye, and then back to what you're experiencing now?
Well, I think the most revealing thing is how quickly we had a calm eye probably just 15 minutes ago. I was out here standing talking with my crew. We have a paramedic and a photographer, and we had no issues. And now you can see I can barely even stand. But I'm going to step back and show you I'm knee-deep in water. So this water was not here. The winds were calm. So that just shows you how dangerous these storms are and how violent they can be. And I'm now seeing power flashes in the distance.
Wow, Ben, well, thank you so much for your coverage, and we hope you fall back and find somewhere safe to ride out this particularly intense part of the storm.
Thank you, Gadi.
Sure. Joining us now is Jamie Rome. She is the Deputy Director of the National Hurricane Center. Thank you so much for being with us right now. We're in the landfall window. The timing has moved up literally a few hours ago, and it's become stronger, bigger. It's making landfall, and now we're seeing the backside of that wall go through. Can you walk us through what we're seeing right now?
Yeah, unfortunately, all of the hazards that were predicted with this particular landfall are unfolding. You can see it in some of the footage ahead of this segment. So let's start first with the heavy rain. So the heavy rain is along and to the north of where the center is tracking. That is placing that heavy rain and that flash flooding. And this is not typical rain. This is seriously intense rainfall rates over the Tampa Bay area, and it's going to move along the I-4 corridor overnight, so that's Lakeland and Orlando. The worst of the surge, which is where the footage was earlier, is down here south of where it made landfall. So it made landfall at Siesta Key. So the worst of the surge is this Port Charlotte, Venice area in Sarasota County. And so, they're sort of experiencing the brunt of it as we speak. And then the core of a major hurricane moved ashore here. And so these extreme winds, we've already got a report of a gust of over 102 miles per hour. These extreme winds are just moving inland, and with it, you're just getting, exponential rise in power outages as this core moves slowly inland.
And when we're looking at Sarasota right there, where a bulk of our teams are, you're starting to see the backside of the storm come in. How much storm surge is that going to be bringing in the next 30 minutes to an hour?
Well, we think the peak of the storm surge is going to be somewhere in the 9 to 13 feet. We don't have any instruments that can hold up to those types of conditions, so we don't have anything to measure it or report it. But just based off experience, when you get that sort of onshore wind at a big hurricane, you're going to get every bit of that 9 to 13.
And what are your biggest concerns as you see the hurricane now making landfall and ripping across Florida there?
It's unfortunately impacting a densely populated portion of Florida. This I-4 corridor that connects Tampa, Orlando, and Daytona, very heavily populated, and some of the worst of the conditions are going to ride right along that area, exposing, probably millions of people to these conditions.
And we know that the storm surge, it doesn't seem like the storm surge concern for Tampa has materialized, but where are the places that are going to be hit over the next few hours with the storm surge the worst?
Well, Tampa just swapped out one type of flooding with another. So instead of getting the saltwater flooding, they're now getting the intense flash flooding that is occurring from the heavy rains. The peak of the storm surge is just a little bit to the south because the center came in just south of Tampa. So that 9 to 13 is probably in the Venice, Port Charlotte area.
Jamie Rohn with the National Hurricane Center, thank you. And we are continuing our special coverage as Hurricane Milton makes landfall across Florida's Gulf Coast near Siesta Key as a dangerous, potentially life-threatening Category 3 storm. This is a live look at the conditions right now in St. Petersburg, Florida. The monster storm weakened overnight from a Category 5, but then grew in size. Impacts are going to be felt all across Florida, even up to southern Georgia. And flooding and power outages are already a major issue. More than 1 million people right now all without power. And storm surge, as we were just hearing, could reach up to 15 feet in some parts. Tornadoes have also been making things much more dangerous as dozens of reported twisters earlier ripped up some communities hours before landfall. All of this happening just 2 weeks since Hurricane Helene slammed into Florida, forcing people in hard-hit areas to scramble and to get rid or secure any debris that could be a hazard in front of their homes before Milton's arrival. That's some of those debris piles that you're seeing right now. Hopefully those debris piles, most of them have been taken away, because as the storm surge comes in and as the winds rip through, you can see how those debris piles can turn very, very dangerous. NBC News meteorologist Angie Lassman joins us now. Angie, I mean, that was incredible. I don't know if you were watching, but that shot with Tom Yamas earlier, it was fine. It was peaceful. It was almost this eerie calm, right? And then as soon as we went to him, in a matter of seconds, everything turned and he was just being tossed around and they had to fall back. So can you walk us through what they experienced with those winds as the wall went over them?
Yeah, so they experienced the pressure drop in the eye. They experienced the extreme calm where you can even sometimes hear frogs and bugs outside. And then they experienced really the worst of what Hurricane Milton has to offer when it comes to those winds. We know that the eye wall is where the strongest winds live. And where Tom is, they aren't actually the worst of it per se, because you move a little farther to the north and you'll really start to see things ramping up. But it isn't pretty. It is not something that you want to be out in for sure. And you'll, when I show you these wind reports that we've got in over the past hour or so, you're going to be impressed. One thing to note, we've got a flash flood emergency going on across Tampa. No surprise. We have reported 5 inches of rain in the St. Petersburg area in 1 hour. There was already over a foot of rain that has happened in the past 24 hours. So you can just put into perspective what that means for the flooding that's ongoing across the Tampa area with this kind of setup of this rain, the purples and the deep, deep reds kind of sitting over that area. And this is likely going to continue. We're talking catastrophic flooding occurring with this rain that's working across that region. So it's not, of course, just the wind. It's not, of course, just the rain. We've also got the storm surge that we're talking about a little farther to the south. But this is going to be something that this area is going to continue to see. Here are some of the wind speeds that we've already recorded. Bradenton, 96 miles per hour, Gadi. We've got the same going for St. Petersburg. Again, that north side of that eye really is where the more substantial kind of impacts are. But still, you look a little farther to the south, Venice over 90 miles per hour. So this is exactly what we expected. Those hurricane force winds ongoing here. And this is what we're going to see here as it works across, unfortunately, the state of Florida. So even as it's over central Florida here, as we get into the overnight hours, it's still going to have really aggressive winds. So we could see some of that wind destruction working across this region instead of just kind of confined to the coast. And when we usually see these storms really significantly weaken over land, but Florida is just essentially not that wide. So that's going to hold together. And remember, it came on shore as a Category 3. It still had a whole lot of steam in it as it made landfall. Here are some of the wind gusts we've seen in the past hour: 82 miles per hour in Tampa, even inland for Winter Haven and Orlando, over 50 miles per hour. The power outages are going to continue. We've already seen over 1 million power outages reported for the West Coast. That's going to expand here as the night goes on for folks across the middle of the state. And here's why. Notice this little red kind of circle right around the center of that system. Those are the hurricane force winds. So look, they'll work across the state. And again, the damage is what you're going to be seeing. On top of that, the flash flood risk is going to be immense with those highest amounts already totaling up. Gadi, we've got more than 6 inches in Tampa, already 2 inches in Orlando. These are saturated grounds. And all of that on top of the fact that we still have a potential to see some of those tornadoes coming in on those outer bands as it works across the state.
Angie Lastman, thanks so much for keeping an eye on all of that. 6.75 in Tampa so far. It's incredible. Let's bring in NBC News correspondent Sam Brock, who is in Fort Myers, a little bit south right now. Sam, what are you seeing on the ground right now? And are we starting to see an escalation in the storm surge?
A material change in just the last hour, Gadi. To situate this for you, I'm in a parking garage so that we're safe in Fort Myers on the 4th or 5th floor. Sound structure. We have a bird's eye view from up here, and if you look down, this is downtown Fort Myers. I would say, at least at last check, when I walked down there, a couple of feet of water have just flooded the streets here. It's coming from the nearby river, the Caloosahatchee River, which was basically at ground level a couple of hours ago when we were live for nightly news. And within that 2-hour span, it's coming in from every which direction. And I know from our vantage point, again, for safety, you're not going to be able to see all of this, but you, I'm sure, see all of the pooling within this street. There's a parking garage sort of catty corner from where we are right now, and I'm looking at the water levels reach about the 2nd or 3rd step and continue to rise. I just see someone kind of checking out and walking back into the parking garage, probably have the same idea that we do, which is to say there is definite storm surge here. And, you know, you're hearing these reports of major flood stage situations in places like Punta Gorda, in Naples, which is about 25 or 30 minutes south of where I am, certainly north. I know you were just talking with Angie about Tampa and Sarasota, although initially Tampa had that weird anti-surge situation going on. But now a lot of these cities, and You feel the wind coming in, gusts that are pretty close to, I would say, hurricane strength if they aren't. Listen to that. That's the palm trees just swaying back and forth, physically being moved. You're just seeing flooding, and I can't even imagine what we're going to be looking at tomorrow morning. We were just talking about, like, we hope we can get out of this garage, because right now it's a couple of feet and just climbing. High tide is 8:15 tomorrow morning. So we are 70 miles away from Sarasota. The lights are flickering on and off right now. I'm sure you just saw in the background. Things go dark. Look at this whole street. Look at this. Okay, all of the street lights
we just saw
are now
that
simmering and
right
going
behind
out.
you.
No power.
Right behind you. We saw a big transformer blow. We saw the lightning hit, and then all of a sudden it is pitch black behind you.
And there it goes.
This is
back on again.
downtown Fort Myers. Wow, that's incredible. What are the biggest concerns in Fort Myers? I know that there was a little bit of a wobble here with this hurricane. It kind of started to dip south, so the trajectory was a little bit different than what people expected. What are the biggest concerns right now in Fort Myers?
Storm surge. Now, as it pertains to Fort Myers specifically, and a number of the other counties, like Lee County, as of about an hour or two ago, still had deputies in the streets. I would doubt that's the case now. Many of these other localities do not want to put first responders in harm's way by going out to try to rescue people who chose not to evacuate in the middle of the storm. Once you get to about 45 miles an hour or greater on sustained winds, they're just not going to do it. So that's point A. Point B, we're in downtown Fort Myers, and I think this is definitely worthy of clarification. Fort Myers is coastal in a sense. You know, we're not far from the Gulf, but you got to go all the way about another 8 or 10 miles to get to those barrier islands. This is all in an evacuation zone we would not be able to access. Barrier islands like Fort Myers Beach, where the catastrophe happened with Hurricane Ian a couple of years ago, Sanibel Island, Matlacha Island, Pine Island, and they have these thin little causeways and bridges that are not like the sturdiest things you've ever seen. And so during Ian, they ruptured. People couldn't get on and off of some of the islands. The death toll for Ian, and I'm using that as a reference point here, was 150 people, give or take, 70 in this county. So once you start talking about storm surge getting up there 6, 7, 8, 10, 12 feet, loss of life is obviously your biggest concern. I believe, and it certainly seems for all appearances, that enough people evacuated that you had a lot of people get out that could have potentially drowned. But we heard that the shelters, and you can again feel this wind really kicking up, the shelters had about 100,000 people across the state, according to DeSantis and the Department of Emergency Management when they briefed a little while ago. Earlier it was like 30,000. Now they're reporting 100,000. It's true in Lee County, where I am as well. Started the day at 1,600, 7,000 people in shelters here.
Very telling there. Sam Brock, stay safe, and we'll be checking back with you in just a little bit. Let's go back to Tom Yamas in Sarasota. Tom, I can't even describe what you and your team just went through. I mean, we were watching your shot. Everything was so calm, eerily calm, and then all of a sudden, I thought this was like playback or something. I could not believe that this was happening live because it happened so quickly. What was it like on your side of the woods?
Hold on, Gadi. Power's just going out over here on the island of just off Sarasota. I'm looking out over here. You can see all these hotels and condos have just lost their power. It may fire back up again once their generators kick on, but this just happened. You see it right there.
Wow.
Listen, Gadi, this is the craziest part of this hurricane right now. Like I said, after that eye pass, Bill Cairns told me, he said, get ready for it. And you're right. It was incredibly calm. And then I'd say within minutes, it got incredibly dangerous. We were reporting, I think we have the clip there, and I was just basically saying how the situation was growing dire. We were watching that storm surge come in, and then a transformer, I think, exploded over our head, and that's when I realized it was getting too dangerous. We brought the entire team back. We're completely fine. We're surrounded by concrete here. We're high up. I do want to show you the storm surge. Here's the clip right now. Sarasota is starting to turn dire. At first, we had, okay, we're going to go. We got to go.
Wow, that is a live look
right now. We didn't want to take any chances there.
We're okay. We just want to move inside.
Yeah, we didn't want to take any chances at that point, Gadi. It obviously turned very fast. And I got to tell you, there were a lot of cars, there were a lot of people that were out, trying to see what the hurricane felt like and looked like because we were in the eye. And again, it was within minutes, it completely changed. This storm surge is coming in so fast. I don't think I've ever seen anything quite like this. I've covered a lot of hurricanes. This has definitely been the strongest one I've covered this season so far. But look at that. I don't know if you can tell because it's so dark, but that's a garage, Gadi, and the first floor of the garage is almost completely inundated. What you're seeing there is the wall of the first floor, and that water is rising. This has come up, I'd say, in the last hour, and it's not stopping. The wind is ripping through here right now. I'm sure our weather unit knows how fast it's coming. I'm glad we're inside now, protected by this concrete high up. But you can see how it's ripping these oak trees and how it's ripping the palm trees. We're starting to see projectiles, nothing too serious, but branches, any kind of debris, garbage that was left over, it's all flying around. The power is out in Sarasota, and this is the brunt of Hurricane Milton. This is what Hurricane Milton was all about. That eye, it is so deceiving because it makes people think, oh, it's over, it's not that bad, there was too much hype, and then the backside of that hurricane hits you, and this is what it is right now. We experienced it up close, and I got to tell you again, Gadi, it was just within minutes that thing's nailed us. There's things that are starting to fly off. There are things that are starting to fly off the roof of some of these hotels and these condos. I think they're air conditioning, or kind of like the air conditioning fans at the top of some units, and we're seeing those fly around as well. It speaks to the gravity of the situation here in Sarasota. I really hope those people that were out in their pickup trucks doing donuts during the eye are back in a safe spot because this is getting wild. The flooding has begun. The storm surge is here, and it's getting absolutely wild. I think we're going to go to Tampa right now. I'm not sure who we have there live. This is a fluid situation. We have Stephanie Gosk, who's live in Tampa. Stephanie, we just got whipped with the back end of the hurricane. I got to tell you, it's the real deal. What are you guys feeling there in Tampa?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, we are getting the brunt of it here as well, Tom. Ferocious winds in the last hour. And just to give you an idea, I was standing up on a box for a moment, and a gust came through and basically almost knocked me off of where I was standing. And I'm in an area that's protected. So the winds, 70, 80, 90, even 100-mile-an-hour gusts that we're getting right now in Tampa. And, you know, you've been talking a lot this week about Hurricane Helene and the effect that it had on this area. That was a water event. What we are getting now with Hurricane Milton is both water and it is wind. And when we talk about the water, we're not going to get the surge here in Tampa Bay that they were so worried about, the catastrophic surge. But what you are getting is an unbelievable amount of rain, Tom. There's a period right now, and it's going to stretch for the next 2 or 3 hours, where we are getting upwards of 2 to 3 inches of rain an hour. And that on top of everything that we've been getting all day long, and it really has been raining steadily and at times very hard here. So that's upwards of a foot of rain. On top of this wind, it is really unclear what people are going to wake up to in Tampa in terms of damage, Tom.
And I know you said it's a wind event right now in Tampa, and the storm surge may not be an issue. Are you seeing any type of flooding at all right now? Are you feeling any type of storm surge? Or are you guys further inland and you can't really see it at this point?
We are not on the bay specifically. We are about a mile away, but there are a couple of bodies of water around us. There was what was a small, what I would call pond earlier that looks more like a lake, and there was also a canal that is now much, much higher. So those water levels are certainly rising. The streets have water covering them, although I wouldn't say it was flooding. It's probably likely because the water is just landing so quickly and not draining yet. But you have to imagine that at some point it just becomes oversaturated. We are getting flash flood warnings, those repeated loud sirens on our phones saying that it is a life-threatening flash flood situation here in Tampa, where our equipment is actually getting blown over now by some of these gusts of wind, even though we're standing in a place that has walls on 2 or 3 sides right now, Tom.
All right, Stephanie Gosk, you and your team, please stay safe. The situation is getting pretty dangerous here in Sarasota. There's debris. Look, George, shoot this over here. You see debris. This is basically some type of vinyl siding that's been ripped off. It looked like it was a portico by these tennis courts here, and now it's just getting tossed around in the wind. Jesse Kirsch is just below us as transformers are exploding around us. Jesse, you're literally one level below us in the same protected structure. This just got really wild. This is way more intense than what we experienced during Helene.
Hey, Tom. Yep, Tom, I'm going to have David pan over here because that piece of siding, we're going to watch it for our own safety as well. It is skidding across the top there, and if that blows our way, Tom, that's a real problem. So just bear with us. I know you guys are going to be watching this too. It's flying. Oh my God, that piece of, did you see that, Tom? That is unbelievable. That is a huge piece of metal siding flying in the air right now. And we're going to, okay, look at it. It's pinned to the side of that garage. And I can tell you, Tom, before the lights went out down there, that the first floor of that parking garage is filled with water. There was a trash can floating in there. And I've been watching the water level on this ramp below us keeps on rising. This is why we are elevated. This is what storm surge can do. And we're just seeing it going up slowly over here. If someone is out on the Barrier Island area as this crashed in, there is no time in some cases to be racing to a higher level. And it may go so high that you don't even have a chance. And this is why officials have been pleading for evacuations. Tom, I have to tell you, we're less than 2 weeks since Helene made landfall. And we now know from the county they have close to, at last check, close to 10,000 people in county shelters here in Sarasota. The county says that is the highest volume of people they have ever had come to a shelter in the history of their evacuations. That echoes what we've been hearing on the ground here from people. Helene changed their perspective on these storms. It was the hardest hit, the mayor told me, compared to others that they've had in this community. And hopefully that inspired more people to get out early enough, because we are now seeing how powerful these winds are gusting. All this rain whipping around, you would not have a chance to be driving through this safely. We know the police are off the roads. And with all that debris out there, this is not a time to be outside, Tom.
Yeah, no, Justin, I'm thinking about those cars we saw driving the wrong way towards the Barrier Islands during the eye of the storm. I hope those cars were able to turn
even
back
half
around
an hour ago.
and get out. My photographer, George Pujols here is going to move in a little bit so we can keep an eye on some of the debris flying. But I also want to show our viewers the storm surge that you and I are experiencing right now. George, if you can even come a little lower here. We're above sea level at the compound where we're staying here, this hotel and parking garage. And if you pan a little left, you can see that's where the driveway is. Most of the driveway right now is underwater as the water is rising. Jesse, what's that? Say that again.
Well, No, my hat's gone, Tom. I mean, a moment of levity, but at this point, you know, the winds are so powerful, I didn't even have a chance to catch up with that thing to hold it down. So that is what we're dealing with right now. The winds are really thrusting, and obviously, we're in the garage for our safety, right? We've got these walls that can keep us grounded and protected in a way that we wouldn't normally think about because of the concern about all that debris that's out there, Tom. And all of that potentially, I think, might be funneling the wind through here in a way to make it, flying past us more quickly. But we're looking in all directions. We've got our team's eyes in every direction up here because we do not know what is out there. And we heard, the sound of that debris skidding across that blacktop over there really was chilling, Tom.
You know, Jesse, it's interesting. I'm looking at these palm trees that are just behind us, right? They would be to your left if you're looking at the camera. They're getting absolutely shredded right now. And these palm trees are so interesting. You know, They survive these storms because they're perfectly round and their roots get stronger as they bend. But the tops of them, those palm fronds, are completely getting shredded. And it takes a lot of hurricane wind. I'm going to have George back up a little bit because we're getting some debris that's kind of flying a little too close for comfort here. Most of it's leaves and stuff like that, but I'm just looking out for people, as you are, Jesse, too. The thing that I can't get over, though, is the storm surge. It is moving fast. It's almost taken over the first floor completely, the first story of that parking garage. And we're just getting started here, right? We have another 1, 2, 3 hours of this type of intensity.
Yeah, and again, Tom, going back to the palm trees for a moment, those are not light, feathery leaves. Those are pretty sturdy and essentially like giant pieces of plywood. And in fact, in Hurricane Helene, when that was making landfall, a tiny piece of debris from one appeared to have hit me, and that actually sent our team back inside to safety. And I can tell you, it's not like getting hit with a leaf off of a typical tree. So the fact that those things are being snapped off and just shredded like you were describing just speaks to the ferocity of this wind. That is not an easy lift.
Jesse, I'm showing the viewers now where we are so they understand that we can stay safe while we report on this massive hurricane that is hitting Sarasota right now. These are concrete walls. We are surrounded by concrete. We're high up. We have cars that are protecting us from the wind shear. I do want to show you another angle of the storm surge here. I'm going to ask our photographer, George, to come down. And, George, just point that camera down if you can. You can see the stop sign down there. Hopefully, that stop sign is already halfway covered in water. You can see it right there. And you can actually see the waves. That current is the storm surge that's coming in right now off the bay. And it's coming inland to Sarasota. The interesting thing that we were seeing when we were down there before we had to pull out because it was too dangerous was that the storm surge felt like it was coming from every angle. You were seeing water come in from different avenues, from different streets in different directions, which essentially gives you the sign. It tells you that you're being surrounded by water. It's another reason why we had to come up here. But I got to tell you, the water is rising, I'd say inches in seconds, which is why it's so dangerous. When they talk about that wall of water, it is the truth. We're seeing it in real time here in Sarasota, Jesse.
Yeah, absolutely, Tom. And, you know, we only have eyes on three sides of this because of the safety element you were just talking about, right? Over here, we know there's water. We know there's water off on this side street to the right, and then on the main road behind us, on the other side of our cameras for our viewers, we know there's water over there too. But I'm wondering about the main drag heading over by the marina, because I can tell you before landfall, in the last couple of days, we saw a boat that was partially submerged in the marina area from the aftermath of Helene. And again, this storm was expected to bring twice as much storm surge, and we are looking at really powerful winds. And so I'm really curious to know what that looks like. And obviously, when it is safe enough, when it is light enough, we will get an idea of the damage over there. But there are a lot of boats out in the water, Tom, not to mention the vehicles that we have been seeing on the roads and the people who we've heard shouting during that moment of calm during the eye.
You know, I lived through Hurricane Andrew. I was about 12, 13 years old when Andrew hit Miami back in 1992. And it changed the building codes all over Florida, right? People realized the power of a hurricane, especially a direct hit, and what happens if windows break and wind gets in. It can lift off roofs. So our viewers seen all these giant skyscrapers, all these big buildings in Sarasota. They may be wondering how these things survive. They usually have storm impact windows, right? Those windows are very, very strong. They usually can withstand winds up to 165 miles per hour. What they can't withstand sometimes are projectiles. I mean, they are high impact, but you got to be really, really careful. Luckily, we don't see anything flying in the air that high right now. What I am noticing in those buildings, though, the power is out. There is no power. What's up is generator power, and it's just emergency lights at this point. We're up and we're running with lights, but we're on battery right now, and that's the way we're able to broadcast to you live. I understand we have a storm chaser in Daytona who's been following the storm for us as well. Daytona's far from us. It's on the east coast of Florida, but the storm is so big that everyone in Florida is experiencing something. What are you seeing there in Daytona? All right, we lost our storm chaser. It's okay. It's going to happen in a live situation. I'm going to stick with Jesse right now because the story seems to be right here in Sarasota. Jesse, you were here a couple of days longer than I was covering what was going on here. You saw some of those debris piles, you told me, further inland. It felt like people got out of Sarasota. We were seeing businesses boarded up. Is that the sense you got? And were they able to tackle those debris piles? Or was it sort of too much and not enough time like it was in Tampa?
Yeah, I think, Tom, that it was too much. We know from the governor that he said they were working 24/7, but he also says they only got 50% off the barrier islands. Wow, that's a really strong gust. I can hear it through your mic, and we just got the wind shifted directions and got a rush of water to the face. There's definitely still a lot of debris out there. The mayor had told me yesterday that well before landfall, they had stopped collecting debris, and there were still piles as I was walking with her in a ghost town, effectively, street out on the barrier island. I also can tell you, Tom, I know you are no stranger to covering these either. Oh, man, that's really rushing through. When we come to town, right, we stock up like everyone else. Food, gas, non-perishable food, gas, water, gas cans, so we can have extra fuel on hand. And I got to tell you, Tom, it felt like those things were harder to find earlier this time around. And that echoes what I heard from the mayor, what we get the sense from in these communities, is that people are on edge in a way they aren't typically because of what Helene did in this community already. Again, I saw a waist-high watermark in a home not too far from where I am right now on a barrier island just up the road. And that was from the last storm. This one is supposed to be more ferocious, and you got to hope that more people are taking it seriously. And from what we're hearing from officials, that seems to be the case, Tom.
All right, Jesse Kirsch. Jesse, you and your team stay safe. I know you're close by. I want to go to Chase Kane right now. He's our national climate reporter. A tornado, I'm being told, has just touched down in Daytona. That's where Chase is right now. Chase, what do you know?
Gadi, cannot confirm that this is a tornado, but I've been taking a look at the live radar, and there is definitely rotation in this storm. That's why we are well inside the loading dock of our hotel here. We have a safe place that we can take cover, but you can probably see here behind me just how strong these winds are. So we have that combination of both the sustained tropical storm force winds with the rotation in these storms that we've been talking about all afternoon. The National Weather Service office in Miami set a record for the most tornado warnings issued in one day today. As of last check earlier, we had well over a dozen confirmed tornadoes. I mean, you can see what the trees are doing here. Even the gate next to this loading dock here. The vehicle that just drove by is a Volusia County sheriff. The only vehicles that we've seen lately are official vehicles because there is a mandatory curfew. There's a mandatory evacuation order in place for this area where we are in Daytona Beach. I mean, would be tough to guess how strong these winds are, but it's been pretty ferocious here over the last, certainly over the last half hour or so, Gadi.
All right, Chase, it's Tom Yamas you're talking to here, but I know you're new with us, so that's all good. Please stay safe where you are in Daytona. We're going to check back with you a little later. George, I'm going to bring our photographer, photojournalist George Pujols back over here because I want to show how much the storm surge is growing here. I'd say it's climbing inches. Every minute or so, it gets more. And this is what they were afraid of here, right? It was a historic storm surge, a storm surge like they had never seen before. It's just getting started. We still have, I'd say, 1 or 2 hours of this intense weather. Our meteorologists will be able to give us a better sense of that. It's also such a big storm that there are different parts of the state being affected, including Orlando. I know we have Charles Salazar, who's live for us to help us out in our live coverage there. Charles, talk to us about what you're seeing in Orlando and what your big concerns are tonight.
All righty. First of all, thank you for having me here tonight, and thank you for the work that you guys do out there reporting the news, because that's really important to everybody. So in Orlando, we've witnessed quite a bit of rain, some rain bands that came through here. And we're really concerned about flooding, and so now the winds are starting to pick up. I think right now they're sustained at 30. You know, our rescue crews are going to be out there. They're going to be ready, but when the winds get to sustain 40 to 45, which we're expecting, then we have to pause operations and wait for that to stop before we can continue those operations. But, you know, we're concerned with falling trees. What we learned through Hurricane Ian, we learned that this could be a potential heavily flooded city. And so what we did this time is we pre-positioned our rescue boat assets throughout the city in those areas that flooded previously. So we're going to be ready for that. We are aware that there has been many tornadoes, and we're prepared for that. We've had tornado warnings here, nothing confirmed. But the men and women of the Orlando Fire Department, they're ready. They've been preparing for several days. They performed really well during Hurricane Ian, and we're ready to perform for this storm as well.
Charles Salazar from Orlando. Charles, we appreciate all that you're doing over there. Please stay safe tonight. Our continuing coverage live from Sarasota will continue right now. We are live in Sarasota as Hurricane Milton is striking this area. Stay with us. Okay, guys, what's the plan? Okay. Right. Okay, we're live right now from Sarasota, our continuing coverage of Hurricane Milton. You are watching as the storm has already made landfall. This is the backside of the hurricane, the most powerful part of the hurricane, slamming into Sarasota right now. It made landfall just a bit north of us in Siesta Key, south of Tampa. That was somewhat of good news for Tampa because they were worried about the storm surge if it hit north of there. But right now, unfortunately, it's bad news for Sarasota, feeling the brunt of Hurricane Milton, and we're seeing that storm surge happen as we come to you live right now. The wind just ripping completely the palm trees, power outages everywhere. We are experiencing transformers explode, and we're seeing trees be ripped apart in real time right now. We still have a team of reporters that are fanned out across the state of Florida as the wind is really picking up here. I'm going to have George back up a little bit so he can get into a safer position as we set up here. If you're just joining our coverage, we are in a safe spot here. We're in a concrete garage on the 5th floor. There's no chance that the storm surge is going to get us. We are protected from the wind, but it is an intense scene right here, and one that we saw firsthand. We were in the middle of the eye maybe about 30, 45 minutes ago, and the eye was just passing us. And within minutes, the situation got incredibly precarious. An transformer exploded over our heads. We had to run out with our crew because at that point we realized we should be back inside. But that's how quickly the storm can turn on you. It can go from very calm when you're in the eye to the backside of the hurricane, which is happening right now. Again, as I mentioned, we have a team of reporters live tonight in Sarasota, in Tampa, in Fort Myers, all over the state of Florida, covering Hurricane Milton as it's made landfall, and it's now cutting across what we call the I-4 corridor. I'm going to ask our controlman to tell me one more time who we have next, who's coming up here. Okay, we have Angie, one of our meteorologists, who's going to walk us through what's happening. Angie, talk to us about what's happening right now where we are in Sarasota.
Yeah, so Tom, you mentioned you went through the eye wall and you really saw the worst of it ramping up at a quick pace as expected. And on the backside of that eye wall, you see things wrapping around, and you can tell by some of the returns on here just how aggressive this rain, the wind is where you are right now. And that's only going to get worse here for the next maybe 30 to 45 minutes or so. And then we'll start to see things kind of tapering off a bit. Of course, you're not out of the woods. You're still going to deal with what's left to come for Milton here as it works more inland. But we've got some other things unfolding. Where Tom is right now, that's where we're really concerned about, of course, the wind and the rain, but the storm surge essentially from that point south. It is a tale of kind of two impacts. The storm surge for folks on that coastal region, and then we've got the really heavy rain, flash flood emergency ongoing across Tampa, and we've got, of course, the potential for those damaging, destructive winds with that eye wall working through these regions. So here's some of the rain that we're seeing right now. Notice the purple, the pinks, the reds. That is the extremely torrential rain falling in that region. We've seen multiple inches in just a span of an hour. In some spots last hour, it was over 5 inches of that region. So no surprise that we've got this flash flood emergency ongoing. But look how expansive those flash flood warnings are across this region. This is the area on the north side of that system that we're really concerned about the heavy rainfall. And it stretches across the state because it is going to remain north side loaded with the heaviest of the rain and the strongest of the winds. So as it works across the state, we'll watch that. This is going to go until 2:30 in the morning. I am concerned for what it must be like in this area right now, to be perfectly honest, when it comes to the flash flooding that they're likely seeing from Bradenton to Ruskin, Tampa, Clearwater, St. Petersburg. But they are not getting the storm surge. That, of course, is points south of there. And you can see that backside circulation starting to work in. So we've already had reports 4 feet, 5 feet in places like Fort Myers, Naples. So that means we don't really have a whole lot of gauges in between there. We're going to have to wait and see with first light what kind of unfolds when it comes to the storm surge for that region from Sarasota down to Fort Myers. But we likely will see that storm surge forecast from the National Hurricane Center verify if we're already at the point that we're at of 4, 5, 6 feet in some of these places that are farther away from where the center of that circulation is, and those onshore winds are continuing. So we're likely talking about much higher amounts closer to that system, of course. So we'll have to wait and see exactly how that plays out. No surprise, we've got a reverse storm surge happening in Tampa Bay. They've, of course, escaped the worst of it when it comes to the storm surge, but you saw the rainfall amounts, and you're about to see some of those wind reports that we've seen that have just been downright impressive as that system moves ashore. So that is what they're going to be dealing with when it comes to destruction and damage here through at least the next couple of hours. There's where we're, again, expecting the worst of that storm surge. 9 to 13 feet likely will verify. We'll see possibly the 8 to 12 feet verify as well, especially when you're talking about the Cape Coral area, the mouth of that bay. We saw it with Ian. We saw the destruction when it came to the storm surge, and it's not hard for flooding to occur in that area. And this likely is going to be several miles inland for that region as we get closer to high tide time. Here's the winds that I was talking about. Over 90 miles per hour in a lot of spots. Bradenton, St. Petersburg, North Palm Beach, Venice, Sarasota, all over 90 miles per hour. This is what we mean when we're talking about getting in that northerly part of that eye wall. And it's ongoing. The system well inland, 84 mile per hour winds for Tampa and St. Petersburg this hour. We've got Winter Haven up to 71 miles per hour. So the power outages are just going to keep falling here as this system works across the state. We've already got more than 1 million in the central Florida and parts of the Space Coast. Will start to add to that. And this likely will be a good chunk of the state dealing with power outages with how expansive these tropical storm force winds are, but especially these hurricane force winds that extend well out from the center of that system. Now, the flash flood risk notice as we get through the day today and get into tomorrow morning, we're really going to be concerned about places like Orlando and stretching up to Daytona Beach. I said that northern side of the system, that is where a lot of rain is. We saw shear and a cold front interacting with the system before it moved onshore. That kind of made the northern side of the system really big and bulky, and the southern side of it a little wimpy. Of course, it didn't weaken it all that much, but this means that the heaviest of the rain is going to be working across these regions, specifically Orlando, Daytona Beach here as we get through, especially into tomorrow morning. We're still going to be watching this. One thing to note, we've got already saturated grounds. We've already had 8 inches of rain in Tampa here over the last 24 hours, and impressive amounts in a very short period of time. So when you're getting multiple 4 inches of rain per hour for 3 hours on end, we're talking double-digit rainfall amounts. So you may have escaped in parts of Tampa Bay the storm surge, but you're still going to see the flooding likely into homes, businesses when it comes to the rainfall that's ongoing. And this, again, this is going to Orlando, Daytona Beach, those numbers are going to grow here as the system works across the state. One thing, that high risk of flash flooding, it's going to stay with us through the day today into tomorrow. We could potentially see over a foot of rain in some spots, maybe even higher than that. 1.5 feet wouldn't be out of the question, Tom. So this is a multi-impact event. And on top of that, we still have the threat of tornadoes. Those will last here a little while longer. But of course, this is a multi-impact event that's going to continue to unfold here as the system works across the state and maintains hurricane strength.
Yeah, Angie, before you go, one more thing. Do you know how long we're going to be feeling the hurricane force winds where we are here in Sarasota? Because we're really getting nailed right now.
Yeah, you've got a little while longer, probably another couple of hours, especially this system moving about 15 miles per hour. So you're going to be in it here for another couple of hours before you start to see the strongest of those winds kind of winding down. You're still going to have to go through some of that heavy rain. And of course, you know, the winds aren't going to completely relax, but the worst of it, you are in for a little while longer, Tom, unfortunately.
All right, Angie, we thank you for that. We unfortunately got a bit of breaking news, and it's the worst type of news you want to report here. I'm being told by our control room that there was a tornado touchdown in Fort Pierce, Florida, and there are fatalities. As we get more information on this, we were going to bring it to you, but I'm being told now that there has been a tornado touchdown in Fort Pierce, and because of that, there have been fatalities. It speaks to the danger of this storm and what is happening. Not only the hurricane, but the tornadoes that it is spawning tonight. Joining us now live is the mayor of Zephyr Hills, which is just north of Tampa. Mayor, I know tonight is a dangerous night. I know the storm is striking south of where you are. Are you feeling the effects of Hurricane Milton right now? And what is your message to your viewers and to your residents, if maybe they're watching tonight here on NBC News Now?
Yeah, we are feeling the power of it right now. The winds keep gusting up. You know, we're pretty blessed that we're not getting a direct hit, but we know that others are, and it's very sad. We've had rain for about 5 hours straight. At 8:30, we already had 6.5 inches of rain. We've got flooding throughout our entire city. I guess at this point, majority of our residents are without power, and the ones that are lucky enough to have some probably won't in the next little bit.
Mayor, were you in touch with, I don't know if it's Duke Energy or FPL or which power company powers your community, but were you in touch with them, and did they tell you at what point they'll be able to get crews back out on the road? I know it's obviously not anytime soon, but will it be in the days or weeks ahead?
Yeah, so our city is actually has almost all of the different organizations that power our city, and they usually hit the ground running after it's the storm safely gone through. With our last hurricane, it was within a day or two that they started hitting. You know, we can be without power probably 4 or 5 days. That happens here. But we're going to hope for the best, but we know that it's throughout the whole state. So I know that they're going to be doing the best they can to get all of us back online as soon as they can.
All right, Mayor, we appreciate your time. Please stay safe tonight, and I hope the residents of Zephyr Hills are able to ride this out. Jesse Kirsch is joining our live coverage once again. Jesse, I'm out here on the balcony just above where you are, and I'm looking out at the incredible scene we're watching unfold in front of our eyes right now. Vinyl siding being ripped off from different structures out here in Sarasota. A storm surge that doesn't seem to stop. We're seeing palm trees getting completely shredded. I no longer can see the bay because of the sheets of rain that are out here, Jesse. And I just heard from Angie Lassman, one of our meteorologists, it's going to be like this for the next couple of hours.
The idea of that, Tom, is kind of remarkable. We just saw another flash. I don't know if that was a transformer or lightning. But, you know, the idea that these conditions are going to persist, and with all this debris flying, Tom, and I think for me the biggest thing that keeps catching my attention is the sound of that scraping of that metal off in the distance, Tom, and I know we've both been paying attention to it for our team's safety. Just speaks to the force of these winds. And yet you can see the pieces of the top of that little shed on top of this deck. Oh, man, look at that one. It just got picked up. Tom, I just lost sight of one of those pieces of debris. I don't know if you saw that, too, but it just kicked up off the deck and went off into the distance towards the bay, Tom.
You know, one of the things that's interesting is that our viewers are watching this. They're seeing these trees get shredded. What they may not be able to see, because this is a nighttime hurricane, is that the storm surge level is rising, and the trunks of these trees are almost completely underwater. At least the bottom halves of these trees are almost underwater. I've been monitoring the water, and you can see this over the balcony too, Jesse, where you are, of how high it's rising. Yep. Because, you know, we're very elevated here, and we're maybe 50 to 100 feet where the driveway starts, and then you and I are 4 and 5 stories up. But I can see that water rise, and you look at the garage just across from us, and that garage, the first floor is almost completely underwater, and it hasn't stopped rising. I want to tell you something else I just learned, Jesse. Our weather unit is telling me now that they can't tell us how fast the wind is blowing at this point, because the sensors likely here are broken. The last one they clocked were somewhere around 102 miles per hour. And you and I know over the last few minutes, it's been getting stronger and stronger since then. It's one of the reasons why we're reporting from inside this concrete structure, this garage, because it's safer. I also want to tell our viewers that if they see a flash of green or orange, it's not lightning. It's likely a transformer exploding somewhere in the distance. And Jesse, I've been seeing those quite frequently over the last 10, 15 minutes.
Yeah, and we started seeing them quite a while ago too, Tom. I mean, that's been one of the stories unfolding the last couple hours, and I think you hit it on the head. The debris is the big unknown here. I've been asking officials about the impact of it on everything from potentially making a death toll worse to exacerbating the storm surge. And the other thing that they didn't seem to think was a big point of concern, but I'm going to be curious about tomorrow, Tom, is we know how quickly the flooding can recede when you get the debris cleared out from the storm drains, right? The lingering flooding hours after landfall. I want to know how much worse that flooding will be, or how much quicker it has unfolded because of that debris. And it might be hard to gauge just because there's no one that's going to be tracking that in real time. Tom, I want to, if you bear with me for a moment, we're going to show our viewers, we've been able to get mobile enough to give people an idea of how much water is around us. So, Tom, this is the side we've been showing people, and you have too, again and again. And it's an incline, so it's hard to know how quickly the water is rising because it keeps getting steeper, right? So it might be more water coming in than we can tell just because of that incline. This is one side, and now come with me. And Tom, you were talking about the fortification. We've got these sturdy walls. This garage is almost entirely insulated, but we do have those pocket windows we can go to step outside and give people an idea of what we're seeing. And on this end, we have a view of the other side street. I know you were down here earlier before it got too risky to be down there. And then we also can see the main street, Tom, and have our photographer, David, come in here and show you the view from over here. We are surrounded by water by at least 3 sides here. This is the other side street, perpendicular to where we were, and then off in the distance out there is the main road in downtown Sarasota, and I can see the water rippling in the reflections from the lights that are still working out there. So clearly we have water on at least 3 sides here, Tom, and it's going up the side of that stop sign and that street sign. It's almost entirely submerged what looks to be a railing by a sidewalk over there. It's hard to know how much, but it has to easily be feet of water, Tom. Oh, that's a big gust.
Yeah, see,
that's a big gust.
Yeah, no, yeah. It's getting worse and worse, and we have another couple of hours. The other thing we have to tell our viewers, because of this storm surge, we're actually camping out here. We're going to overnight inside this garage. because it's just too dangerous even to walk over to the hotel in conditions like this. The storm is now a Category 2 hurricane. It's headed towards central Florida. That's where Priscilla Thompson is for us tonight. Priscilla, as we look over my shoulder here, I'm hearing this loud wind. I just got to kind of look over and make sure everything's okay. What are you seeing in Orlando at this hour?
Yeah, Tom. So about 20 minutes ago, we lost power here. So now the location where we are, the hotel, is running on generator power. So they're able to power some things. But already we're without power here. And the worst of this storm has not yet even arrived. Over the past several hours, the rain has been coming down. The wind has been picking up. It appears to be slowing for a moment here. But we did hear that loud crack of thunder. And then immediately all of the lights in the room that we were in went out. All of our lights out here went out. And so we are running fully on batteries. And now there are more than 1 million people across the state without power as this storm is continuing to churn on. But the real threat here is going to be the flooding. Earlier today, when we were out on the roads, when this first started, we were already seeing some roads starting to flood, the water beginning to pool, and they are expecting up to 14 inches by the time this is all over. And so they are bracing for that flooding. The county here has passed out more than 200,000 sandbags. They've also been working to lower the water levels in the bodies of water here, and they've got pumps set up all throughout this area so that as they can get this water out quickly when that flooding really starts to pick up. But catastrophic flash flooding, definitely a concern here. And again, the power already out in some areas here, and the worst of the storm is still projected to be at least an hour or two off from where we are. Tom?
And Priscilla, talk to us about the tourists there, right? Because Orlando obviously runs on tourism. You have Disney, you have Universal, the amazing theme parks of Orlando. Were tourists staying put, or were they evacuating?
Well, those theme parks, those major theme parks closed, which is something that we do not often see, but Universal and Disney all closed. We have seen boarding up taking place in those areas, and so tourists were not going to be able to visit those sites. I will tell you, the hotel that we're at has a lot of people here, some residents, perhaps some tourists, but there are something like 1,500 people who are in shelters and in hotels right now, bracing for what is to come, and businesses have been closed throughout this area. We did go to one gas station earlier that said that they plan to remain open, but even the woman, the cashier inside, said that she was worried about staying there, but that she had to stay there to work. And so a lot of folks heeding the warnings, making sure that they're closing, but you do have some folks who are remaining open, and that could be a real problem because, as we have heard from first responders and emergency officials, once this gets bad here, they are not going to be able to get out to help people, especially as we're talking about flooding, which we know how deadly and concerning that can be, in addition to the tornadoes that we saw ripping across central and southern Florida earlier today. And so now this new wave of a threat is preparing to come in here. Tom?
All right, Priscilla Thompson, you stay safe tonight. We appreciate your reporting. We're looking live right now at what is, I guess, a tennis pavilion. It's right next to these tennis courts that are on top of this parking garage, and the vinyl siding of that structure is getting ripped off, and you can see it's kind of flapping back and forth, but we're watching that because we just don't want to see that go airborne, because that can be pretty dangerous. While we kind of monitor what's happening here in Sarasota as the hurricane force winds are just crushing this city right now, I want to get over to Sam Brock, who's live for us in Fort Myers. Sam, talk to us about what you're seeing where you are.
Well, it's an interesting way that you phrased that, Tom. What I'm seeing right now is not a whole lot because it is dark. About 30 to 45 minutes ago, we were doing a live report with Gadi, and the lights just started flickering, and then the entire block just went out, and I'm staring out right now into the abyss. There is a building down the street that is likely on a generator that's still light, so you can probably see that. But beneath it, just oceans forming in the streets. You know, there's obviously a river right here in Fort Myers that we were talking about. The potential for it to breach the streets over the course of the last couple of hours, absolute change in the sense that there's 2 to 3 feet minimum. I would say more, just rushing through downtown Fort Myers right now. And I'm not talking about Fort Myers Beach, which of course had that horrific experience with Hurricane Ian a couple of years ago. That's a barrier island, 20 minutes, 30 minutes from where we are, and then crossed by bridge. This is downtown Fort Myers, and I'm looking around and I'm seeing tree branches floating in the street. Haven't seen dumpsters yet, so it's not quite strong enough to perform that. But this is a snapshot emblematic of what, no doubt, corner after corner looks like throughout this town. And I say this because I just checked the U.S. power outage numbers. Priscilla was talking about this a second ago. In the state of Florida, 1.5 million customers, no power right now. 1.5 million customers means you figure 2 or 3 or 4 people a home. You're talking about 4 or 5 million people in Florida without any power right now. That includes right here. There's not the sort of metal siding that was pulling off. I've certainly seen that before. Have not seen that where we are. So please take care where you are right now, Tom. But just we're sort of getting that information. Also, just to update you on some of the key talking points right now, there's more than 100,000 people across the state that are currently in shelters. Excuse me if this has been reported previously. Our colleague Marissa Parra was updating me on that. That was as of about an hour or so ago. The previous update had been 30,000, right? So there have been these widespread calls for evacuation all over Florida, from where we are in Fort Myers south to Naples, which is in a major flood stage, and that was as of 2 hours ago, north to Sarasota where you are, and beyond Tampa. It's the whole region right now that has folks that are displaced, that doesn't have any power. There were confirmed fatalities in Fort Pierce, Florida, St. Lucie County. We got an update, John Filippelli did, from our Miami bureau, from officials there that said that there's been multiple fatalities from a tornado. And now think about this. 19 confirmed tornadoes, or the way the governor phrased it was tornadoes that have touched down, because we know they have to be surveyed, as of a couple of hours ago. So they're all over, right? That's just one little portion. In all likelihood, you're talking about dozens of tornadoes. This remains a threat. It's dark in a nocturnal sense. You know, it's much harder to see them wrapped up at night. And so that's a cause for concern as well. And sort of to put a bow on all of this, what you were saying earlier, we have been seeing big green flashes in the sky. Haven't seen it for a little while now, but it certainly seems likely that it is transformers blowing and affecting the electrical infrastructure here. And yeah, I'm just looking into darkness. I can barely see the camera in front of me, but at least the winds have come down a little bit in the last 20 or 30 minutes.
All right, Sam Brock, you and your team stay safe as well. We thank you for your reporting and staying up late for us tonight here on NBC News Now. We are up and we are broadcasting live from Sarasota because Hurricane Milton has made landfall, and it is just absolutely crushing the city of Sarasota. Just behind me, we've been watching this tennis pavilion that is getting the siding ripped off of it. We're going to put a light on it so you can see it a little bit better. We're trying to keep eyes on it because when the siding gets ripped off, it becomes projectiles, and part of the roof has already shredded off, and now sides of the tennis pavilion are getting launched into the air as well. We're talking about hurricane force winds north of 100 miles per hour. That's what we're going through right now as you hear and see some of that vinyl being tossed around. It's dangerous down there. It's dangerous all over Sarasota. What you may not be able to see or tell that you're looking at right now, that is water on the ground there. The storm surge is rising. These trees, the bottom halves of them are completely underwater. And that water level has been rising. We've been watching it. It is held steady for the last 20 minutes, so I'm hoping that maybe that's the extent of the storm surge. I'm praying that's the extent of it, because if it goes up any higher, it could be incredibly dangerous. Already parts of Sarasota look like islands because they're surrounded by all sides of water. The power is out here. As you heard, more than 1 million customers across the state of Florida without power. We have teams spread out across the state tonight. 1.6 million, I'm being told now, people without power, customers. That's just a house, that's an apartment. So you think about family members, as Sam pointed out, and that number could be 3-4 million people without power right now. As I mentioned, our teams are spread out across Florida tonight. We're live for you in Sarasota. Dana Griffin and her team are stationed in Naples. Dana, we were watching that Naples pier for the past couple of days. We know it got destroyed during Hurricane Ian. I think I can hear what you're seeing there and what you're feeling. Talk to us about Naples right now.
Yeah, Tom, if you're hearing some clacking in the background, this is how strong the winds are. We are in a parking garage. We are safe, but there are some metal signs that are swinging just behind us. We can't show them to you right now, but that is the noise that you're probably hearing. And you can see the trees kind of whipping. They're leaning a little bit to the left here. We're not seeing much rain. We're kind of getting rain off and on. It's stopped at the moment, but we've lost power just behind us. This street light was on back here, so we've got a little bit more darkness than we saw earlier. Our hotel lost power for about 30 minutes earlier tonight, but they were able to get back up and running. Naples right now, although we are south of the storm, we are still feeling major impacts. The city of Naples tweeting out videos showing storm surge coming through downtown. This was around 5:30 this afternoon. We know it surpassed 4 feet. I heard numbers possibly as high as 6 feet. But the police department says that storm surge is expected to reach peak numbers between 3 a.m. and 6 a.m. So we've still got several hours to go, and the impacts will be felt as we go through the night. We know that power outages have impacted some 30,000 people here in Naples alone. Even here in this garage, the door just opened and then slammed shut. So that's just how powerful the winds are at this moment. That is the biggest thing that we are seeing right now. Officials have told people to stay off the roads, no driving. So luckily, we have not seen any cars. We know 911 services and emergency crews are still responding to emergency calls, unlike other counties where they have suspended them as the storm passes through. Here, they are still answering calls. Luckily, no injuries in Collier County. But likely we may learn more as day breaks, because again, the dangerous part about this storm, besides it, coming ashore and hitting and slamming against Florida, is that this is happening under the cover of darkness. So there's going to be a lot of damage, a lot of possible injuries that we don't know about until morning. So it's important for people to stay put, stay hunkered down. It is not safe to be out on the roads right now. And earlier today, we were at the beach just before Milton made landfall earlier today, and we saw several surfers out on the water, many telling me that this is their dream, to be out on the water to catch those waves before the storm hits. Officials were telling people they needed to leave, but that's also part of this story. You have people that are taking this storm very seriously, and they were too, to a certain extent, because they said that they were in higher elevations, that they were going to go farther inland to get away from the storm once it got closer. But in that meantime, they were out there enjoying the surf. And right now, this is what we're seeing here in Naples, just a lot of wind. And this is likely going to continue through the night. Tom?
Yeah, Dana Griffin, we appreciate your reporting. Please stay safe as well. A lot going on in Naples as well. A lot going on all over the Gulf Coast. Where we are in Sarasota, the wind has not stopped. It has been a constant feeling of hurricane-force winds north of 100 miles per hour. At last check, they were 102 miles per hour, and then the sensors, I'm being told, broke. So it's unclear how strong the winds are at this point. But they've been relentless. They've been shredding palm trees. They've been shredding trees. They've been shredding structures as well. Vinyl being ripped off. We have multiple cameras here in Sarasota now. My producer, Ignacio Torres, has a live view camera showing a different angle from where we are in this protected concrete structure. And we're essentially trying to show you the different angles of what's happening around this area of Sarasota. The power is out. More than 1.6 million across the state don't have power right now. The hurricane-force winds don't want to stop. They keep going. And it's just getting started. We still have another hour to 2 hours of being hit with these relentless winds. But we're staying put. We're in a protected space. We hope people evacuated, because you would not be able to survive this on a barrier island. It would be incredibly difficult as we're watching the storm surge continue to come in. The good news is I've been monitoring it for the last 20, 30 minutes. It looks like it's kind of staying where it is, but it's already overtaken one story of a parking garage below us. So that gives you an idea of how much water's coming in from the bay. We were out in the storm covering it when it was the eye, and the eye is obviously the calm part of the storm. And we knew the backside was coming. The backside is when things get dangerous. Right now, this is the backside of the storm here. But the weather turned on us so quickly. We were reporting live, and we had this moment happen when a transformer exploded over our head. Here's that clip now. Welcome back to our live coverage of Hurricane Milton. The situation here in Sarasota is starting to turn dire. At first, we had, okay, we're gonna go, we gotta go.
Wow, that is
So there was essentially a transformer exploding over our heads. It was, we felt it was way too dangerous to be out there. We wanted to come way in. But I gotta tell you, the weather turned on us within minutes. We were out there, it was calm. We were talking about how it was almost like a calm Sarasota summer night. And then within minutes, that's why the eye is so deceiving. As soon as the eye passed us, it was the back of the eye wall. Things got really intense and really dangerous really quickly. But again, now we're in this concrete structure. We're monitoring everything behind us here. Angie Lastman is back at 30 Rock. She's monitoring the hurricane and where it's headed. Angie, what can you update us on?
Well, we've got a Category 2. I heard you mention that earlier, Tom. We are, of course, seeing this system interact with land, so no surprise that we're going to get some weakening. It's still looking pretty good, though, when it comes to the winds, 110 miles per hour. It's moving quite quick, still northeast at 16 miles per hour. But we have an ongoing flood emergency happening across parts of the Tampa area. So we're specifically going to hone in on that here to start. Here's what's going on. We've got this entire area, Ruskin, Tampa, Clearwater, St. Petersburg. We have recorded 16 inches, more than 16 inches of rain at St. Petersburg Airport here throughout the day today. That just tells you what's happening. We've had multiple inches happening in 1 hour. We had a report of over 5 inches in 1 hour in St. Petersburg. This is likely going to shape up to be a 1 in a 1,000-year rain event when it comes to folks in St. Petersburg and the surrounding area. So that flash flood emergency is going to last until 2:30 for this region. And you can see why. The really, really heavy rains, the purples, the reds are all kind of centered and sitting over that area. Yes, the system's moving 15, 16 miles per hour over the past couple of hours, but not fast enough to kind of get folks that have already been sitting in this part of the eye wall in those rain bands for a prolonged period. So we're likely talking multiple, maybe a foot and a half of rain here by the time this is all said and done in some of these spots. Now, Sarasota, you're on the backside of that, of course, Tom, where the winds are onshore. You're getting those onshore winds, so the storm surge has been the big story with this system in a lot of spots. And yes, Tampa Bay dodged it, but Sarasota and points south, we are seeing places like Port Charlotte, Punta Gorda, all dealing with impressive storm surge. We're talking 5, 6, maybe 8 feet of storm surge right now. The problem is we don't have a whole lot of sensors in that region, so we're not going to be able to exactly tell what's happening in some of those spots between, Bradenton and Sarasota and points south to Fort Myers. But with the strength of this system, it's not going to be surprising if we see those numbers in that Hurricane Center forecast verify as we get into tomorrow. So that's what we're watching when it comes to that. But even still, 4.6 feet in Fort Myers, we're likely seeing, again, in this area, much, much higher amounts. That is what we are so concerned about for folks there. This 9 to 13 feet, still very possible. And we're going towards high tide time. That happens around 6 o'clock in the morning. So that means that the water, just astronomically, is still coming in. And so is that big rush of water from this massive hurricane that continues to work across the state. Now, the hurricane gusts that we've seen have been impressive. Sarasota, where Tom is, 102 miles per hour. That was last hour, and we're not going to get any more updates when it comes to the gauge there because, unfortunately, the sensor has broken. So, unfortunately, we're going to be looking at likely those strong wind gusts sitting in that same kind of area here as we go through at least the next couple of hours. Where Tom is, but we're not going to get those updates. As we go through the next 12 hours or so, though, that wind field is going to work across the state, and that means that the potential for damaging wind gusts and, of course, more power outages, you've heard our correspondents reporting on those, that's going to continue, and it'll be probably widespread from Tampa all the way to the Space Coast. This is the area that we're going to watch here as we get into tomorrow, specifically Daytona Beach to Orlando, Melbourne. That's where we'll be watching for that flash flood risk to transition to as the storm works to the east, and it's already really saturated grounds, honestly. We've got a report from Tampa Airport, over 8 inches of rain there. This has been, just quite impressive how that band just kind of sat over that area and dumped multiple inches of rain per hour. And we've got more hours to come for rain for that spot, unfortunately. So that's why we're so concerned. That's why you see that wording with the flash flood emergency. And this is a widespread area. And by the way, as the system moves to the north, that same rain band is going to also work to the north, and that concern will be centered over places like Orlando. We know the kind of flood risk that the state of Florida has as a whole. It is built on porous limestone. That water doesn't have a whole lot of places to go, so we know the flood risk that happens here as we get really saturated grounds and heavy rain events unfolding all at the same time. So unfortunately, this is what we're going to be watching here well into the daylight hours. Tom, this is going to be ongoing going for the morning hours. The only good news in this is the system is going to cruise across the state of Florida pretty quick. And that means probably by noontime tomorrow, it's going to be emerging out over the Atlantic waters. And then, of course, then it will be checking out, of course, the damage that has left behind. But we won't be talking about Milton much longer into the second half of our day tomorrow.
You know, Angie, before you go, I do want to ask you, I've been watching the storm surge here, and it looks like it was rising pretty quickly. It looks like it may have stabilized. I obviously can't go down there and measure. I'm just sort of eyeballing it from different signs and where I'm seeing the water level. When is high tide? I'm sorry if you went over this. It's just been so loud with the wind. When is high tide here, and how will that affect the storm surge that we're seeing right now?
So one thing, Tom, the strongest winds that you were going through, that biggest push of water, that was, of course, happening as the center of the system was right there. So that's probably why you saw it happening at a very rapid rate. That's why we often say with storm surge that it can happen in an instant, especially the closer you are to the center of that system. Now what you're seeing is winds, of course, still very aggressive, very destructive, but not quite as aggressive as they had been when you were closer to the center of that system. But you're going to see still an elevation in these tides as we get into the overnight hours. High tide around 5, 6 o'clock in the morning. So we'll probably see peaking closer to then, maybe 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock. But that water level is going to continue to rise. And I was looking at pictures coming out of Venice that we had inundation in homes, and those amounts are going to continue to rise here. Unfortunately, we don't have gauges there, so we're going to have to see what happens with first light to see exactly how that shapes up.
Yeah, the winds have absolutely been relentless, as you've been reporting. As the storm moves more towards the center of the state, and hopefully at some point to the East Coast and off into the Atlantic Ocean, because it's causing so much damage right now. Like we said, we have teams spread out all across Florida, covering the entire Gulf Coast, the center part of Florida, and then the East Coast as well. And we unfortunately have had some bad news throughout the night that people have died from the tornadoes that touched down in Fort Pierce and St. Lucie County. Those tornadoes are just so powerful. They take people by surprise. And usually if you have no time to get out of its way, you're not going to survive, because they are some of the strongest weather systems that exist on this planet. Couple that with this monster that we're dealing with right now, Hurricane Milton, that is just absolutely ripping Sarasota apart. I'm going to ask our photographer, George Pujols, to come in here a little bit to kind of show what we're seeing here. These trees kind of tell part of the story, because they're kind of being shredded in these hurricane-force winds. What you can't see, it's hard to see, is all the water, the storm surge we've been talking about. If you see those waves coming in, that current, that's all storm surge. That should be a parking lot. That should be a driveway, and you can't even see it anymore. The storm surge has created islands around some of these big buildings, some of these condos, and these parking lots. Where we are right now is surrounded by water. We're going to stay here riding out the storm until it's safe to go outside. So we're talking about 4 or 5 a.m., we're not going to leave this structure. Thankfully, it's concrete, and we can deal with it over the next couple of hours. I want to go to a storm chaser who's here in Sarasota. His name is Matt. And Matt, talk to us about what you're seeing right now, where you are, and what part of Sarasota you're in.
Yeah, definitely. I'm downtown next to the Embassy Suites, and I've got to say, you know, the backside has been so much more forceful than the front side, and I think that's catching a lot of folks off guard. I've seen winds consistently between 100, 110 miles per hour. I've eventually kind of backed up throughout the street because the surge has been creeping higher and higher and higher. I watched it rise about 2.5, 3 feet in only 10 minutes time, so it came in rather fast. Power flashes, transformers blowing left and right. It's been absolutely crazy. At one point, part of a palm tree flew past me, a roof flew past me. From one of the rooftops of the hotels, a bench crashed down, literally came crashing down to the ground, exploding into a series of metallic shards. It was insane. Part of a traffic light ripped off right next to me. And I think part of the reason why we're seeing these extreme winds isn't just the hurricane, it's how the hurricane is interacting with non-hurricane weather systems. It's undergoing something called extratropical transition, a baroclinic process. Sounds like a mouthful. Basically, it's beginning to feel like a non-tropical storm. And so some dry air is wrapping in the backside. Now, the moisture from the storm is falling into that dry air, evaporating. That makes the air a little bit drier, and drier air is heavier, so it sinks, and it kind of pulls momentum from aloft all the way to the ground. So you're getting these crazy strong winds that otherwise would be in the upper atmosphere down to the ground. We call that a sting jet. It's been wild. I also want to briefly talk about how heavy the rainfall has been. It's been incredible. You mentioned earlier on parts of the Tampa area seeing unbelievable rainfall on the order of 9.04 inches in St. Petersburg in 3 hours' time, 5.09 falling in just 1 hour. That's a 1,000-year rain event, a once-in-a-thousand-year rain event on average. You know, anything over 8.5 inches in 3 hours is considered once in 1,000 years on average. So this thing is like a once-in-2,000-year flooding event for the greater Tampa area. And part of the reason, once again, that non-tropical process. Dry air filtering in the south side kicked up all the moisture, helped focus it, and you get these crazy intense rainfall rates near and north of I-4. So the I-4 corridor has a top-tier risk of flash flooding and excessive rainfall. A lot of folks winding up with 15 inches, give or take. So this storm has been more than a lot of folks bargained for, and the back half has a lot more punch than the first half.
All right. We thank you for your help, and we thank you for covering the storm with us here at NBC News. Please be safe where you are. I know where your hotel is. I spotted it. I hope you're okay, and I hope you're out of harm's way, because right now, as you mentioned, the backside of this hurricane has gotten particularly crazy. We're joined now by an official from Daytona Beach. He works with the fire department there, the chief of the fire department, and we thank you for joining our live coverage tonight, Chief Drew Driscoll. Chief, we were getting reports of a tornado possibly touching down in Daytona. Do you have any information about that tonight?
We have not experienced that tornado touchdown, though we anticipate many tornadoes coming in this area, as we've experienced throughout the state of Florida.
Are your units able to respond to calls right now, or is it too dangerous at this hour?
Well, right now, the bridges to the barrier island have been shut down, which will delay our response. But currently, we're still experiencing that tropical force wind speed and power outages. So we are able to respond, but there will be a time we'll no longer be able to respond to assist people.
What type of emergency calls have you been getting so far tonight? Is it your sort of, I know it's not a typical night, but is it what you expected?
No, yeah, it's what we expect. The power line down, the tree down, the fire alarms, and in addition to the medical calls. But we've also experienced a couple smaller structure fires, especially in our neighboring jurisdictions, where we've been able to assist them.
Chief, what else do you want your people to know tonight? If they're watching our coverage tonight, what do you want the people of Daytona Beach to be aware of as Hurricane Milton is just tearing through Florida?
Oh, as we continue watching your coverage, we're expecting localized freshwater flooding in addition to tidal surge flooding along the intercoastal waterway beginning early in the morning. And the winds they're experienced locally right now, this is just the beginning. We're going to see increasing winds throughout the evening and into the morning. So we encourage everyone to heed the warning and the curfew order out and stay hunkered down in place, and allow your public safety officials and public work people to go out there and mitigate the damage as we all begin to recover, hopefully in the coming days and weeks.
Chief Drew Driscoll, we appreciate you tonight, and good luck getting through the night. I know it's going to be a long night for you and your brave men and women. Jesse Kirsch is going to rejoin our coverage right now. He's just below us here in Sarasota in that parking garage complex that we're stationed at. Jesse, you know, we're getting no break from this. One thing I noticed, it appeared that the storm surge wasn't rising. But Angie, our meteorologist, Angie Lastman, telling us that high tide's at 5 a.m. and that water could rise once more.
So, Tom, I can tell you for the moment it appears to be receding. We'll go down below again here. The light that is out, the one that is out, to the left of it, there's one that's on going up the ramp. And there's a, like a no parking sign on the siding. I've been watching that. And the water level used to be beyond it up the ramp, and it has since receded to the other side of it. And I hear that scraping again, Tom, which I know gets both of us turning our heads around, because that means that debris is on the move. So we're going to keep our eyes out. I'm noticing something, Tom. It occurred to us a short time ago, and I don't know if you're feeling this up there. I can taste it. I can feel it. You feel like you're at the beach right now. This is salt water. This is not flooding from rain. This is storm surge, which means we're dealing with water from out there in the bay, in the ocean, that has made it onto land. And I'm realizing that it feels like when you are at a coastal restaurant, when you're on the beach, that's what it feels like. I can feel the salt water in the air, and it feels like it's sitting in. I'm wondering if you're feeling that too.
Yeah, Jesse, when we had that little dicey situation with the transformer exploding over our head, I realized as we were walking back, I was like, oh, that's no longer rainwater, that's the seawater. And Yeah, we had seen the storm surge come in little by little. I agree with you. I think it might be receding for now. But again, once the high tide hits, it could be a much different story. It's likely going to be a different story. We're just going to have to wait and see what exactly happens with that. Something that has impressed me, though, with this storm is the backside has been incredibly powerful. It looks like the winds may be slowing, but just when you sort of put your guard down for a second, a massive hurricane force wind comes through here, and we already know it's north of 100 miles per hour, Jesse.
Yeah, and Tom, I think this wind cannot make up its mind. We've got this water that's been shooting off the side of the garage. And by the way, for people watching at home, Tom's basically directly above where I'm standing right now. And I can actually see the lights, and I can see your photographer's camera. If he tilts down a little bit more, he can see me. If George tilts down a little bit more, he can see me waving up to him. We'll see if he comes down. I'll keep talking while, yep, there he is. So there we are right below you, Tom. And there you are. Hey, man. So this water that's shooting off the side here, for a moment, it looked like it was suspended in midair because you had the water shooting out and then the wind changed direction and it looked like it was frozen in midair for a time and then it kept shooting out. So, yeah, I mean, this wind cannot decide which way it wants to move. And to your point, just when you think it's calming down, it whips back up again. And we are very much not through this yet. And you said you're spending the night. We're planning to spend the night here, too. And, you know, that leads to all that preparation we've done. And so many people have done in these communities, bottled water, non-perishable food, stocking up on gasoline. And I think, Tom, I don't know if you noticed this when you got into town, but when we were talking about this earlier, it really felt like people were getting ready faster with this storm.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I mean, I think Hurricane Helene really woke people up, unfortunately, in a bad way. I mean, you hate for hurricanes to hit Florida. I'm a Floridian. I was born in Miami. And, you know, people were hurting from Helene. I spoke to a lot of friends in Tampa, worried about insurance claims, worried about their houses. The first floor of their houses were flooded. And then now you have this storm as well, and they don't know what to do because of rising insurance rates, losing another week of work, taking your family out of the Tampa area, and then at some point coming back. But the power is going to be out for a while. The power's out right now throughout Sarasota. We're talking about north of 1.6 million people without power in the entire state, which is millions of people when you think about, you know, families and people who have roommates, et cetera, et cetera. As we're watching Sarasota, Jesse, I think one of the things that we're going to have to figure out as the sun comes up, right, is what happened to those barrier islands, because that was the big fear. Places like Longboat Key, we know that landfall was in Cedar Key, and anything south of that, the storm surge was pretty intense. Those barrier islands, I mean, they're beautiful, they're wonderful to relax in, but in a hurricane or in a storm surge situation, they're incredibly dangerous because there is nowhere to run.
Yeah, and Tom, we've been out on the barrier islands, and while we're talking here, I don't know if the control room's able to find the footage from yesterday. We were out on the barrier islands at a resort, and we showed the impact. I think it was in the 12:30 p.m.-ish on News Now. If anyone's able to find this in the control room, we were able to go into a resort room. The door's supposed to swing out. It was busted in on top of a pile of sand. The furniture was tossed around. The fridge was tossed and tilted on its side. And that was the impact of the force of that storm surge. I went to a gentleman's home. The water line on his house was around my waist height. And when you looked at all the piles of debris in all of the neighborhoods out there and the businesses impacted as well, that was from a storm that was bringing a projected half as much storm surge as what we were thinking we were going to see with Milton. One of the storylines that I'll also be thinking about in the days ahead, Tom, is, you know, we're heading into fall, and you can hear that scraping debris. It's right at the edge here, so we'll be keeping an eye on it. It's a little cooler now in the fall as we get into fall, which hopefully will alleviate some of the stress of being in the heat without air conditioning. But one of the things that people may not realize when they watch our coverage of this and aren't familiar firsthand with the impacts of a hurricane, the threats that officials are thinking about don't go away after a hurricane. They just change, because then it becomes about people properly using generators to have lights, to have produce kept in a fridge, to run air conditioning, all of the things that we take for granted on a good day that run through generators for a lot of people after storms. If you don't handle that generator properly, that can be deadly too, Tom.
All right, Jesse Kurz for us. Jesse, we appreciate that. We want to go back to Daytona Beach right now, where we were following reports of serious weather happening there. We just spoke to the chief. One of our new meteorologists, I should say one of our new climate reporters, Chase Kane, is covering it from there. Chase, what can you tell us about what you're seeing and what you're experiencing?
Tom, as the storm has moved inland and has moved closer to Daytona Beach, but you can hear the wind howling behind me. You can see the trees here. We have sustained tropical storm force winds, but some of the gusts have been in the neighborhood of 70 miles an hour, so really just a few miles an hour away. Well, you see on the horizon, there's yet another of the transformers exploding. We've been seeing the same thing here on the Atlantic coast, transformers popping on the horizon. There is a curfew in place. There's also a mandatory evacuation order in place for this part of Daytona Beach, and you can see why, because we are just now starting to get some of the strongest part of the storm, and we expect that the worst of it, Tom, is going to be over the next 2 or 3 hours.
Chase, you know, we were trying to follow reports that there were possibly a tornado touchdown in Daytona. Was there anything to that reports, or were those unsubstantiated?
So far, what I was seeing, Tom, is we were seeing the traditional, you know, the stereotypical rotation on radar, and then the winds picked up really quickly here. We can actually walk over to the road a little bit and show you some of what we were seeing, because the winds have been so intense, pretty consistent, and then all of a sudden we saw those swirling winds. So it matched what I was seeing on the live radar, that we saw that rotation. Haven't been able to yet determine if it was a confirmed tornado, but here on the street, there's been a lot of, I'm about to lose my hat, there's been a lot of debris flying by, so we're going to stay here in the wind shadow to stay safe. But as that was happening, you could see things being picked up and tossed down the street here behind me, Tom.
Chase King, we appreciate you. Thank you. Please stay safe tonight. We want to speak to the sheriff of St. Lucie tonight, St. Lucie County. Sheriff, are you with us?
I'm here. How are you?
Good, good. We're in Sarasota, so it's a little hard for me to hear you at times, but I know you can hear me, so that's a good sign. Sheriff, first of all, I'm sorry. We've heard reports that some people have died because of the tornado that touched down in St. Lucie. Do you have any more information about what's happened there?
Yeah, so currently, right now, we're in 100% rescue mode. Our deputies are out there going through this neighborhood that was just devastated by these multiple tornadoes that touched down in such a short period of time. Governor DeSantis has already reached out. He sent the National Guard, which is here on scene, as well as our partners with Jimmy Petronas. There's a search and rescue team out there. We've got about 200 people searching through this rubbish. We can confirm that there's been multiple fatalities. But again, we haven't even seen the effects of Hurricane Milton yet. Right now, we're focused on, no matter how the storm comes, we're going to rescue as many people as we can.
I'm sorry that your brave men and women are dealing with that at this hour, especially when there's a hurricane that is just ripping across Florida. To give our viewers an understanding of where you are, you're just north of West Palm Beach, Florida. St. Lucie is a special place. It's a wonderful community. I've been there several times. I do want to ask you, how are your teams able to sort of conduct these rescue operations? Are the conditions okay there, or are they battling the elements as well?
Listen, the men and women of the St. Lucie County Sheriff's Office, the fire district, the municipalities here, as well as the EOC members that are out there in excavators going through this, is going to do everything we possibly can to save as many lives as we can, whether this storm comes or not. So there's people out there that need help. Our deputies are out there. The National Guard is already here. They were here within an hour. Specialized search and rescue teams are here. We're not stopping until we rescue everybody that needs rescuing.
It's the right attitude to have, Sheriff. I do want to ask you, did the tornadoes take your community by surprise? Was there any warning whatsoever, or did they just sort of appear, pop up, and just cause complete devastation?
Well, we know that the hurricanes, the feeder brands, kick out tornadoes. We don't normally see tornadoes here on the Treasure Coast. Unfortunately, I don't know if you saw the reports, this whole thing started off, my actual sheriff's office, a 10,000 square foot red iron structure that was housing all of our high water rescue vehicles and our branded vehicles, was hit by a tornado 50 yards away from where we were, and it completely wiped it out. We were outside pulling out as much high water rescue vehicles as we can out of that. Complete devastation. I'm talking about tens of millions of dollars worth of damage. As we're there, all of a sudden in a 20-minute period, we've got reports of 17 confirmed tornadoes that just destroyed our community. Now, there's been over 100 residences that are completely destroyed, and we don't even have the hurricane here yet with the sustained winds. Those other neighborhoods, we've checked, they're good. All life was taken care of. So right now we're focusing in a 55 and older community that's mainly consisted of modular homes that, I mean, you wouldn't even recognize it. I'm not sure how strong tornadoes are rated, but I can tell you this, there was cars lifted and flipped upside down, moved hundreds of yards. I could tell you that there was nothing left to some of these places but foundations, and these whole trailers were moved, 10, 15 rolls. I mean, you can't even recognize it. This path of destruction is like nothing.
Yeah, in a lot of cases, tornadoes are more powerful than hurricanes. They cause so much destruction in that line of the tornado. It's hard to believe. Is your 911 system still up and running? Is that still functioning?
No, everything's functioning. This is strictly down. I mean, you can literally see the path of where this went and where these multiple tornadoes went. It just left complete devastation. Our community's out here. We're going to rescue whoever needs rescue. We're not going to stop. Again, we have the greatest governor. We're in Florida. We're resilient. We're going to continue to search them. Whether Milton comes or not, our deputies and our staff is going to be out there rescuing everyone who needs rescuing through the storm.
Sheriff, we thank you for your time. I know it has been a wild, sad, and dangerous night for you. I appreciate you updating our viewers on what's happening in St. Lucie County. We're going to be thinking about your community. We're going to follow what's happening there. We're going to keep you in our prayers tonight.
Thank you, guys, and just God bless the rest of Florida.
Yeah. We are continuing our coverage here in Sarasota of Hurricane Milton. Just behind me, we have been dealing with hours of hurricane force winds, a storm surge that seems to be stabilizing, which is a bit of good news. The hurricane force winds, though, won't stop. It has been continuous over the last 2 hours. The eye passed over us. It was calm. It was quiet. And then suddenly it was chaos. And it's been that way for the last few hours. We still have about an hour to 2 hours to go as we continue to cover Hurricane Milton striking Sarasota and the Gulf region. Cutting across Florida right now is a Category 2 hurricane. We're going to stay live on the air as we broadcast here on NBC News Now. Stay for the most comprehensive coverage. We have reporters fanned out across the state. Live reports coming up right after this short break. Stay with us. Welcome back to our live coverage of Hurricane Milton. We are live in Sarasota. I'm Tom Yamas reporting on our special coverage of this hurricane tearing through the state of Florida, now a Category 2. Our meteorologist, Angie Lassman, is standing by at 30 Rock. Angie, before I toss it to you, I do want to show our viewers here what we're experiencing in Sarasota. It has been hours and hours of nonstop hurricane force winds. Couple that with that dangerous storm surge we've been seeing. As I told you earlier, Angie, it seems to be stabilizing, if not possibly coming down a little bit, but we know it could all change once that high tide comes. Angie, talk to us about what you're seeing on the radar, where this is headed, and also that dangerous, dangerous threat of the tornadoes that have touched down and unfortunately have taken lives tonight in Florida.
Yeah, so one thing about the storm surge, Tom, that I'll tell you, we saw Naples peak about just over 5 feet. Now, if you're wondering, is the water going to start receding anytime soon? Unfortunately, no, because as you mentioned, yes, we are going towards high tide time. So 5 feet that far from the center of the system, that just tells you, I fear, we're going to probably be into double digits when it comes to storm surge amounts when this is all said and done, closer to the center, Sarasota area and points near where it made landfall. So we'll be watching for that. That storm surge not going to let up here anytime soon. We'll see that lasting through at least the early morning hours before we start to see things receding significantly. The other big concern with this is the flash flood emergency that's going on across St. Petersburg, Clearwater. Now we've seen this extended. Notice, if you were watching just 30 minutes ago, you didn't see Plant City included in this or Polk City. And that's because that area that we've been so concerned about with all of that heavy rain kind of just sitting over the St. Pete and Tampa area is starting to shift a little farther to the east as Milton continues to work across the state. So that means that this is going to be extending, and what you're going to notice here as the night goes on, this extends farther east and farther east as Milton works closer to Orlando, works closer to Daytona Beach. Here's where the center of it is right now. So again, on the northern side of that center, as it works up towards Titusville, Daytona Beach area, that's where the heaviest of the rain is going to be. And we've seen impressive totals already, over a foot in some spots. And we've seen 5 inches of rain in 1 hour in St. Petersburg. So that just tells you how robust that area of rain is. And as it moves across the state, it's going to continue to cause those problems. Notice where the heaviest of it is right now. It was centered closer to Tampa. Now we're talking just to the north and west of Winter Haven, where you have those deepest of pink kind of returns on the radar. This is going to be along I-4 here for at least the next couple of hours as this works a little farther to the east. Notice where the center of it is. That onshore flow is going to continue for folks south of that, so we're still going to be dealing with the onshore flow for a little while longer, Sarasota and points south. But that offshore flow will continue north of that. So no surge issues, but definitely the flooding concern remains from the Daytona area all the way to the Tampa area as we gear up for that honestly catastrophic and life-threatening flooding to expand across the state as the system works to the east. Notice where some of the highest amounts are here as we get into the day tomorrow, like through Thursday. We're talking over 10 inches of rain. Some of those highest totals, Tom, will be upwards of 18 inches. And that expanding wind field means destruction on top of it as the center of it moves to the east and northeast. That means that so does the damaging winds along with the heavy rain threat.
All right, Angie Lastman for us tonight. Angie, we appreciate you. Thank you for keeping us updated and explaining what we're seeing and experiencing here on the ground with the radar and with the science. We do appreciate that. I want to get over to Stephanie Goss, my friend and colleague, who is live in Tampa for us tonight. Stephanie, talk to us about what you're experiencing there.
Sure, Tom. You know, it's been hours now of very heavy wind and very heavy rain. And although the rain has let up just a little bit, it is still coming down. But what you're really seeing here is what makes a hurricane so dangerous. We are in a parking garage, Tom. We're about 3 stories up in a parking garage, and we've had to move around it because the wind has been moving around. And what that means for damage is that you've got things bending this way and then suddenly bending that way, and we're seeing trees break, we're seeing lights flicker and go off, even a transformer in the background. We've seen that, that very indicative blue light. We do still have power where we are right now, but we are seeing it go off and on behind us. You know, the rain right now and the flooding, flash flooding, is really the concern. There's an emergency right now, a flash flood emergency for Tampa, for St. Petersburg, and that's because the rain has been falling so hard and so fast. They're warning people not to go out, of course, to stay put, unless, of course, Tom, that the water is rising and the water becomes a problem where you are.
Stephanie, you guys have been out there reporting and broadcasting for the past few hours there. Are people staying inside, and are they essentially following the orders and not coming out during this massive hurricane? Or have people been sort of curious, trying to be a little cavalier and see what Hurricane Milton is all about?
Yeah, it does appear that people are listening to the warnings. And I'll tell you, unlike you guys, where you had a period of time where you were in the eye and it seemed like things had calmed down, this has really been a very steady, heavy wind, heavy rain event. We haven't seen any cars about. We haven't even seen any police or anyone out in this. And just because the winds have been so dangerous for so long, it does sound like they are going to lighten up a little bit, that the rain is going to lighten up a little bit, but then you are left with this situation where you had all that debris outside of people's houses. That has now all been scattered into the roads. You will have live wires in the roads. It will still be, even when the rain and wind let up here, very dangerous to move around the city of Tampa, Tom.
And Stephanie, you know, we've been talking about the power outages. Here in Sarasota behind us, the power is out. The lights we do see are from generators and emergency lights at buildings. Are you experiencing the same thing in Tampa? We know that nearly 2 million customers are without power across the state.
Not where we are right now, Tom. It does appear as if the area here must be protected to some degree. They maybe built it up with that kind of protection. This parking garage, for instance, still has power. However, in the last half an hour or so, we've seen a lot more flickering of lights, indicating that there might actually be a problem over in this direction, and that would inevitably try to affect us and could be out for hours. For the moment, though, we've maintained power.
All right, Stephanie Goss for us tonight. Stephanie, we appreciate that. We want to go further south to Naples now, south of where we are in Sarasota. Naples, the big threat of the storm surge there because they were south of where landfall happened in Siesta Key. Dana Griffin has been reporting for us with her team there. Dana, update us on what you're seeing and feeling and hearing out there.
Tom, it's so loud with the wind here, so I didn't quite get that question. Can you repeat that?
Yeah, I was going to say, what are you guys seeing, feeling, and hearing out there in Naples?
Yeah, obviously very strong wind, Tom. 50-mile-per-hour wind gusts. We just got an update from our meteorologist, Bill Cairns. He says that storm surge here in Naples has peaked 5 3/4, close to almost 6 feet of storm surge. And officials in the city tell us that the storm surge is going to peak around 3 to 6 a.m. So this may not be over because we have not even reached high tide yet. So you can see behind me these trees that are whipping right now. They're kind of leaning to the side. We are seeing this behind us, and also in our parking garage. We've got a second camera, if you can go to that, just to show you some of these metal signs that have been clanking against this concrete structure here. This is what we're seeing and hearing. This is just how powerful the wind is. It is pushing and moving these metal signs that are in the garage that we are currently stationed at. We are at a facility, a medical facility that trains surgeons. This is Arthrex's garage. They let us in here to come report live so that we are safe from the elements outside. And as you can see, the winds are whipping really, really, really rough out here. The power has been lost. We're staying at a hotel nearby. We lost power for about 30 minutes there. The power did kick back on, but the street lights that we saw here just outside of this parking garage, they have now gone down. We're seeing a patrol officer here on the street just driving around, but the streets here in Naples have been empty for several hours. That's because the city asked people to not be on the roadways, and I think people are heeding that. Several people we spoke with earlier this week said that they were leaving, especially those people that were in the evacuation zones, zones A and B. Those were the cities most, or the areas most vulnerable to 1, flooding, and 2, storm surge. So we're going to have to check in with them tomorrow to see how they are doing, because there's one particular pocket that is very that is very vulnerable, and there is a concern there for that storm surge, which again is more than 5 feet at this hour. We have not reached high tide, so we are kind of hunkered down here for as long as we need to, and we're getting more wind gusts. We're hearing the clanking from those metal signs again. They're getting pretty loud. That's just how gusty the winds are. Again, 50 miles per hour at least in this particular area. You know, one thing that we're hearing from officials is that about 30,000 people have lost power in this area, and that number seems to be climbing. When it comes to people that evacuated, we don't have a total number of how many people left, but we have heard from officials that there are about 1,900 people that have gone to their shelters. They have about 9 total, including one that's open for special needs. These are people that need generators because they have medical devices that cannot lose power. So they've got people in that shelter. They've got a couple of shelters for people with pets. We've seen people, you know, leaving the area, getting supplies, preparing for this storm. So we are hoping that everyone in Naples is safe. We know that law enforcement is still responding to emergency calls, unlike some other areas where they have had to suspend those emergency services because it is too dangerous for even law enforcement to be out there. But our hope is that people are being safe and that they are hunkered down. And as this storm passes, hopefully we'll get a better sense of the damage out there once we can leave this garage and head to lower ground. Tom?
Dana Griffin for us tonight, live from Naples. Dana, we thank you for that. We're going to take a quick break. More from Hurricane Milton live in Sarasota right after this. Welcome back to our special coverage of Hurricane Milton as it is crossing through the state of Florida right now. Our meteorologist, Angie Lassman, has been walking us through what we are seeing on the radars, the science behind everything that we're feeling here in Sarasota on the ground, as we're still feeling some hurricane-force winds, Angie. You know, you've been tracking this hurricane, you've been tracking the storm surge, and tonight, even the threat of tornadoes and some deadly ones that have made landfall here in Florida.
Yeah, and unfortunately, Tom, it doesn't look like any of those, those threats are going to subside all that much. The good news is that we no longer have any tornado watches that are in effect, but we'll, of course, keep an eye on how things escalate here as that system works across. We know with the circulation of a tropical system, we could see a spin up or two. So that's the good news. The bad news is all the other impacts that we've been telling you about for days and days, they unfortunately are developing and unfolding in a lot of spots. So let's start with the flash flood concern that we have right now. A flash flood emergency has been expanded into portions of Polk City, Plant City, Zephyr Hills. It initially was just confined to the Tampa, Clearwater, Rusk, and Bradenton area. Now that has, of course, expanded because the system is on the move, and we've seen just incredible rainfall happening and unfolding, specifically places like St. Pete, 5 inches of rain in 7 o'clock to 8 o'clock time frame. That's, 1 in 1,000 year kind of rain event. It is unprecedented for us to see these kinds of things developing in such a quick time period. And we likely will see that continue, that same trend continue here as the system works to the north and east. And it's going to be kind of slicing right through the heart of Florida. Notice Cat 2 still at this hour, likely remaining at least a Cat 2 or maybe a Cat 1 here by the time it works into the Space Coast area. But Winter Haven up into Orlando, Titusville, Daytona Beach all have the potential to see some very heavy rainfall. Some of those spots are already starting to see it ramp up. Notice Orlando, we're getting into some of the heaviest of that rain. Notice the pinks that you see in the reds just to the north and west of Winter Haven. And by the way, we're seeing some strong wind gusts in those same areas. So incredible rain, strong wind gusts. And this is going to be something that continues here as we get through the evening and night hours and go into the overnight and into early tomorrow morning as the system starts to work offshore. But that's kind of the setup as far as the rain goes for essentially the next 12 hours in some of these spots. The highest of risk from the Tampa area up to the Daytona Beach area. I think when this is all said and done, double-digit rainfall amounts are not going to be out of the question for a lot of spots, not just singular spots. These are entire communities that are dealing with flash flooding happening right now. That's what that flash flood emergency means. It means we are currently seeing flash flooding unfolding community-wide for a good chunk of the area. You have some of these major cities included in that, Tom. This is going to be one of the most concerning things. The good news is we've seen some peak storm surges happening in some spots like Naples. The bad news is we don't have those gauges between, Sarasota and Naples to kind of determine exactly how bad things got there. And unfortunately, the barrier islands, Tom, likely going to be some of those spots that we see double-digit storm surge values, just as the National Hurricane Center predicted.
Yeah, that is. There are a lot of unknowns right now, Angie, but that happens sometimes with hurricanes, right?
Yeah.
You report what you have, you report what you know, and then we stay up and we keep studying everything and making sure we can get it right the morning after once we can sort of confirm some of the things we saw. But we're seeing so much tonight. Sam Brock, live in Fort Myers, he's seen a lot, not only in his lifetime, but he's seen a lot tonight here with Hurricane Milton. Sam, talk to us about what you're experiencing over there.
We've lost nothing if we've lost our sense of humor. I should say we've lost everything if we have. Tom, we're seeing some of the most vicious winds so far since I've been up here. It really does feel like the directionality changed. There we go again. We're now getting hit on the backside of this thing after the eye wall obviously made landfall. And I'm looking out on these streets. I can't even see patches of street anymore. Angie was just talking about storm surge warnings and flash flood emergencies. I am looking down right now. You don't need to tell me about the warnings. This is what's playing out on the street in front of me. It is just a river, but it's a river in every single direction. I can't look at a vantage point on this garage right now and find a place where there's not water. So if this is just one little slice or snapshot from Fort Myers, I can't imagine what this will look like in Punta Gorda, where there's videos 15, 20 minutes, 30 minutes to our north of people an hour ago walking through their homes and seeing the water coming up to their knees. Over my shoulder, there goes a piece of tree. There's a dumpster in the distance. I don't know how dark this is for you, Tom. The water is about halfway up to the dumpster. I mean, that dumpster has got to be 8 feet tall. So that's at least 4 feet of water. There was just a lot of commenting, if you will, on social media when we started posting this information. People saying, you guys are embellishing. There's no way there's going to be an 8 to 12 foot storm surge. Get out of here. Well, as Dana was talking about a second ago, 6 feet, and you were as well, in Naples. Perhaps that's crested, perhaps it hasn't. We know that it doesn't really hit high tide until 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. We'll find out. The water is all over the place. I would also add, it's not exactly clear how many deaths there will be. We have several confirmed already from one tornado, Fort Pierce. Okay, that's the east side of the state. Governor DeSantis earlier today was talking about 19 tornadoes that had touched down in his estimation. They haven't been surveyed yet. There's got to be likely dozens of them in reality that have actually occurred in Florida, and we don't know how many of those led to, sadly, fatalities. You just extrapolate and extrapolate. As I stare into a black space right now, 1.6 million people in the state of Florida with no power at the moment. So you have a power crisis. You could have certainly a water and sewage crisis tomorrow. We'll find out how well protected those pieces of critical infrastructure were. We saw this play out with Helene just the last week or so. When you don't have water, how that impacts communities as a result of just so much water. It's damaging infrastructure. So that's all something that needs to be figured out. And then the shelters. I mean, you have 100,000 plus people situated in shelters right now. Shelters. Can you imagine if there hadn't been these mass evacuations, the kind of situation that we'd be looking at? So that's sort of, in a nutshell, what we're seeing. But God, these winds. We are getting hit once again with some pretty powerful winds. Our car was rocking earlier a second ago. This has been going on for the last several hours. And I would imagine, Tom, that we're in store for a couple more hours of this as well, if you can still hear me.
Well, yeah, I was going to ask you, I mean, you feel like your hurricane force winds there are getting stronger? Are they maintaining? Or do you think they're slowing down a little bit?
Sorry, it's a little hard to hear. I think you're asking if we're getting hit with hurricane force winds. So hurricane force winds pick up at obviously 74, 75 miles an hour. Certainly these gusts feel like they would reach that level. I don't know that this would crack 90 or 100. I don't have that odometer, whatever that device is that tells you how fast the wind is going. I don't have one on my hands right now, but it absolutely feels like we're easily approaching or getting into Cat 1 force winds.
Sam, yeah, and what I was getting at was, do you think the winds there, are they maintaining? Do they feel like they're getting stronger, or they feel like they're dying down a little bit? I mean, we've been getting hit with, constant hurricane force winds, I'd say, for a couple of hours now here in Sarasota.
Yeah, I think they've gotten stronger because we're getting the backside of the storm now. At first there was a little bit of moisture, but not a lot of activity out front. We were more anticipating that storm surge really becoming a problem. Within the last hour or so, we're getting different directionality on the wind. It feels like it's kind of wrapped around, and we're getting the end of it. Whether that lasts for another 20 minutes or half an hour or multiple hours, I couldn't tell you, but it's definitely stronger now than it was even an hour ago, Tom.
Sam, we're focusing a lot on the strength of the storm, right? Because we have to, right? We have the wind, we have the rain. It is hitting right now. But the impact of Hurricane Milton along with Hurricane Helene, it's going to be felt for months, if not years. And you know what I'm getting at? I'm getting at the insurance issues here, right? There are monster insurance issues for homeowners across Florida trying to get insured after these two hurricanes. I can't imagine what that's like. It's hard to get insurance before these hurricanes hit. And then on top of that, we have a critical election coming up in just weeks. Florida, some will say it's no longer a battleground state, but no Republican has won the presidency without winning Florida, going back to Calvin Coolidge. So we're talking about a critical election in this state. They're going to have to get that infrastructure up as people are trying to get their lives back together.
Yeah, by the way, Tom, pardon me for 1 second. We have to move our
cameras with it
because the wind is so strong.
Yeah, Sam, I think we have you there. Maybe we lost Sam again. It's going to happen. Live TV. My good friend Jesse Kirsch, my colleague, is just below me here in this parking garage complex where we're coming to you live from in Sarasota. It's the safest spot we could find here. Even though this is an evacuation zone, it is incredibly safe. Jesse, the winds feel like they're still strong. I would argue maybe they've come down just slightly over the last 20, 30 minutes. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, no, I was just thinking the same thing, Tom. It definitely feels like the highs are lower than what we were feeling a short time ago. I can also tell you the water level is still receding below us. And I want to have our photographer go over there. I don't know if you can make it out, on TV. And Tom, if you turn around, you might see it too. It's now the taillights. We had headlights a moment ago. There's a car that appears to be driving on the causeway toward the barrier island. We know police had suspended operations earlier. I don't think we had ever gotten a complete ending to all EMS calls for the county level, but I know the city police had been suspending operations, and I just can't fathom where someone is going to get driving on that causeway. I know it does get elevated, Tom, so theoretically they get above the floodwaters from the storm surge, but and the debris is flying again across the deck. We can hear it scraping. That continues to be the story for us here, Tom, and this is just a microcosm of what's got to be flying around this whole area. But, you know, I keep seeing headlights and taillights. We saw them early on the backside of the eye. I think we've seen far fewer, but the idea that a car is out there right now, first responder or not, is pretty remarkable to me. And what you and Sam were just discussing about, you know, the insurance and the infrastructure around voting and just getting life back together here. We're just past the 2-year anniversary of Hurricane Ian, which obviously was most devastating south of us in the Fort Myers area, where I believe Sam is right now. I spoke with a couple back then who had their home and their business, you know, under threat, and their home badly damaged, was my understanding, from Hurricane Ian on Sanibel Island. And I spoke to them yesterday as we were getting ready for this new storm, and they told me over 2 years later, Tom, they still are not back in their home. And this is the same general region getting slammed again. And it just speaks to the ripple effect and the duration of the impact for so many, and the idea that some people might be having devastating damage to their homes from not one but 2 storms in less than 2 weeks.
Yeah, no, it is wild. I definitely think it's going to have some type of impact on this election, just like Hurricane Helene is going to impact the elections in North Carolina, a state that is a battleground state, and that area of Asheville. I mean, not to get too political on a night like this because we're focused on the storm, but that's a blue pocket in a red area, and the state is important to both parties, just like Florida is. And the last thing on people's minds in Florida is going to be voting after they've just gone through 2 hurricanes. They have to deal with insurance companies, their families, and all types of other messes. I was watching that car, as you mentioned, Jesse, there in the distance. I have no idea what they were doing. That couldn't be the police because they're not out here right now. And to try to get to the barrier islands during the storm surge is crazy. Jesse, I want to thank you. I want to thank you for your reporting. I want to thank all the crews and teams of NBC News that have been reporting through the night all across the state of Florida in the elements, up against this hurricane, bringing you the story to make sure that in NBC News Now you get the full story and you get the facts right. We're going to continue covering Hurricane Milton as it carves its path across Florida. I'm Tom Yamas reporting live here in Sarasota, Florida for this special edition of Hurricane Milton on NBC News Now. Stay right there. More news on the way.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.